Good Wednesday evening, everybody, and welcome to another broadcast of the American Reaching Mahjong League. Nathaniel here with Tucker. How's it going, Tucker?
I'm doing pretty good. Excited to watch more Mahjong. I feel like it's been a while since I've been able to spectate instead of play.
Yeah, that's a pretty interesting dilemma. I feel like I spend most of my time spectating instead of playing. So we got
Well, that's what happens when you run every broadcast.
that's a very good point. Yeah, we've got a juicy one tonight. It's a Division A1 matchup between Julian, Jonathan, Peter, and Korak. Of course, Korak at the top of the division right now, 185.9, had a crushing couple of games recently. The first two of the series went his way, as well as in the previous series as well, climbed up to the top. So we'll see if he can maintain the momentum moving into the end of session 3. Peter's doing quite well, though, in the positives, plus 64.7, hoping to climb as well. Julian at minus 32.1, staying afloat here, and Jonathan has dipped down into the relegation zone right next to myself. We'll see if he can make the climb, as I am hoping to do as well. We're about a minute away from the start of this one, but it should be noted that Division A1 has been very active today. Another table has completed all 4 of their games already, with Aaron climbing in the standings up to third place overall at 127.0 after this session's games. So we'll see how the standings play out after all of these A1 games finish up early in session 3.
And Julian opening up with 2 complete sequences right off the bat. They have to draw 2 kind of unfortunate tiles to get the 1-2-3 Sanshoku, but there's still potential there. More than anything, I think they just like to even get Pinfu out of this hand with how many floaters there are.
Yeah, 3 so draw is a good start towards that Sanshoku, but Jonathan already Tempai. Whew. So fast. 3 6-pin weight here.
Would that be it? Is it a pair weight?
Yeah, essentially we
on the 3-pin.
Right, similarly with the 6.
There's not. Oh, well, it'd either be a pair or a kanchan, I guess. There's no way to interpret it as a, and they're the same.
Yeah, a bit of a funky weight here. Richinomi, but with that being a pair weight, if you sumo, you get the two bonus fu for the sumo and 2 bonus fu for the pair weight / kanchan. So we'll upgrade in value a little bit.
And it's interesting. Julian elected to discard the 1-mon to avoid dealing in a Patsu. It kind of looks like they're folding pretty hard, but at the same time, they're getting such good draws that I can't really tell if they've given up or not, because they just keep on filling shapes.
Yeah, I mean, that 1-2-3 Sanshoku was drawn in, but yeah, the 3-mon indicates definitely trying to escape this hand. And I don't know, it looks like that's the first pin tile that Jonathan has drawn since declaring Ricci, so definitely looks like the pin suit is the danger suit, which is indeed the case here. Does anyone have incentive to fight?
Well, there's 2 Dora in Korak's hand across the table. He also has a pair of Easts that he could open with, but aside from that, it looks like he's got several floaters in his hand, and the 8 so doesn't look bad to toss, but 5-mon doesn't look especially fantastic.
Yeah. He's not going to give up on this hand, not with 2 Dora in the East. So against an early reach as well. I imagine if he gets Tempai, he'll jam 2-pin, 5-pin, 8-pin, all tiles that he'll need in order to make progress.
Not many of those left, though. We can see every single 5-pin, and every single 2-pin has been discarded, and we see 3 of the 8-pins. There's actually only 1 tile left.
It jams the 5-mon out there, so if for some reason a Dora comes out, you can call for Tempai. That's not going to happen here. Peter not going to be able to make Tempai in his final draw. Julian as well. No 10. And Korak will be safe as well. Both 4-pin and the 5-mon safe in this instance. So Jonathan, that really Ricci gains 2,000 points, leaves a Ricci stick in the middle. That's about what you'd expect as the value from a Richinomi anyway. So all things said, mission accomplished.
It's too bad. Julian once again starting with 2 complete shapes, and also Well, they have a pair of 3-mon, but they're all edge shapes other than that, so could shift towards Junchan potentially, similar to their name.
Yeah, I always associate Julian with
Boom.
Junchan because one of the first games that I saw him play, he won something like a Junchan Sanchoku door 2 or something
Boom.
like that. Some crazy Baimon hand. And from then on, I always associated him with Junchan. This is getting close to Tenpai. Ishantan now with Sanchoku at least. Interesting choice here on the 1-pin versus 4-so.
Chi.
Of course, if you hold on to the 1-pin, there's the chance that you pair it up and are able to switch to Junchan Sanchoku, but decides to hold the 4-so instead. Perhaps hoping to upgrade away from this 8-9 Penchon in the Sozu into a full-blown Diamond sequence.
And it looks like Jonathan's having some trouble getting this hand to go somewhere. Is just 2 away now.
It really wants to make it 3-4-5 Sanchoku, but has to consider that these Manzu cuts like this 8-mon look bad against Korak, who's shoving for Honitsu. And Peter, in the meantime, very fast Tenpai, upgrades from the
9-mon Tonki, what it was before.
Yeah, the 9-mon Tonki, thank you. Draws a door,
but
which
now
is
has
really
the
important.
Novaton. Yeah, especially when I'm playing against a Honitsu hand. If that Honitsu's in the Dora suit, I really like waiting on Dora because that means I don't have to discard it into them.
Right.
Boom.
Is going to take the cheaper side off of Julian.
Yeah, Julian, of course, Tenpai for the 7-so, Sanchoku only. And only deals into 2,000 points, but Peter will gain the reach stick as well. This has been my experience playing against Peter as well. Very fast early Tenpais. Not necessarily for the greatest value, but can just outspeed you and really smother the game plan.
If anyone other than Jonathan draws 1 pin, I kind of expect an immediate deal in to Korak's turn 3 Tenpai here.
Just 1 call, instantly Tenpai with the Shaba wait.
And not a bad one. I mean, an 8, out of all the simple tiles, 8 is best to wait on. Although it might be a little bit harder to come out than normal since it's so close to the 6-so Dora, which we see in both Julian and Jonathan's hands.
But in being so close to the Dora, you can always incorporate the Dora into your hand. Draw 6-so, cut 8-so, wait on a Penchon, Kanchan 7-so. That's not so bad.
Jonathan now Ishanten on the left. And that should be Tenpai across the way for Julian, now waiting just on Dora Tonki.
Dora Tonki with bonus foo, 5,200.
Don't really see anybody discarding Dora.
No, not really.
Everybody can use it.
Yeah, so big question on this 3-pin. Korak holds it, says, I just passed the 6-pin before. I know nobody needs it. Let me just drop it again. If he had discarded the 3-pin, that would have allowed Jonathan to call straight into Tanya Tenpai. So, big move there from Korak. Oh, interesting. Doesn't take the Ushidi 10 weight. Just breaks Tenpai altogether.
Yeah, there's no 6-so visible to Korak right now. You can see 3 4-so. Like, no upper Sozu really at all have been discarded except by him. So there's a lot of potential danger on the table. And now Jonathan Tenpai waiting 3-pin 6-so. So we got 2 Dora waits currently.
Oh, and there it is. Korak will hold that. Oh, but it's going to deal with a 3. Couldn't take the Ushidi 10 weight, so waited 5-8. So instead, Tanya Dora 2, 3,900. And Jonathan will edge into the lead.
The Dora, the Hatsu this round. I always like seeing how long people hold on to isolated Dora Yakuhai tiles. And both Julian and Peter have opened them in their starting hands. I think that was the 2 players who were on our right and left. Yes. Nope.
Yes.
No, it's Korak and Julian.
Oh, sorry, no,
And
I've got
Peter's
the
the
wrong
dealer.
player. There we go. Now it's on the right and left as we anticipated.
Peter already with a complete shape, although again, kind of struggling to have all of the blocks necessary. Really wanting to draw around the 6-0 and the 5-mon.
And unfortunately has to contend with fast calls from Jonathan. Looks like it's trying to be Honitsu, which is scary when Dora is an honor tile, though the Hatsu did leave Korak's hand ahead of time, so definitely wasn't a pair in Jonathan's hand 2 turns ago.
And Julian did not decide to follow Korak's suit and discard the Hatsu themselves. So still holding out hope to draw one.
Yeah, and of course, this makes sense, right? You said it's always important or interesting to see who discards the Dora. For Korak, it made sense in his case because he has a very clear Tanyao route, and Dora is less useful when you're planning to open up your hand for Tanyao anyway. In the meantime, Julian's hand does not look like Tanyao, doesn't look callable at all unless you're planning to do Honitsu. So he has a lot more incentive to hold onto that Dora and potentially pair it up or Ricci Dora Tonki in the future.
Well, and Jonathan's hand has changed a little bit into Chanta as well as the Honitsu, and is Ishanten for that.
I really would love to see the 3-so Chi, 7-so Ron or something along those lines.
Ooh.
The open Dianpeiko.
Oh, this is a Suji Trap Itsu for Julian. Waiting 3-mon, with the 6-mon being the tile discarded right before the Ricci.
That's an interesting ordering. 6-mon followed by 1-mon Ricci. I wonder if players will read into that.
Peter is actually Ishanten as well. Could get as much as Ricci Pinfu Apeiko, but would have to draw specifically the 4-pin for that.
Yeah, I feel like Peter's a pretty aggressive player, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him taking the fight here. Jonathan, though, Tenpai on 7-so, which is Gambutsu to the dealer, rather the first Ricci, and it's drawn instead! Oh, it is the open Yapeko visible to the table now. Chanta Honitsu.
That's another good pickup for Jonathan, now above 40k.
It's kind of incredible how much more valuable that hand is closed than it is open, but what an amusing...
An extra Han for the Honitsu, an extra Han for the Chanta. 3 extra Han for the Rienpeiko.
Yep.
But also impossible to make closed.
Yeah, extremely difficult. In the meantime, dealership passes to Julian, who has some work to do. Holding out for maybe considering doing something fancy in the Sozu here. And continues to draw So tiles. I mean, the wall is pushing him towards Chinitsu, but he has a Dora Ryanman.
Yeah, and throwing away a Dora Ryanman just seems so difficult.
But I mean,
5-pin might go here. The tune is totally live. Yeah,
right. 5-pin doesn't feel like a bad cut, and if you draw something massive like the 8-so or the 9-so, something along those lines, you could even call the 5-so and just go. He's really thinking about this. Chi. Little Chi. And hold a Diankan in the upper Sozu. Chi.
Yeah. That's a tough one to know. I don't know about the Chi there, like how good that is. It does kind of make your shapes a little bit inferior, but also it guarantees a So tile.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think
obviously Ishanten now.
I think it ends up being okay, and just wider Ishanten currently. And yeah, I like this. I like the way this has been played. It's putting a lot of pressure because the table now has figured out what's going on, presumably. After cutting, that 7-pin, 8-pin came out immediately after the first Chi. So the table should be reading into that. And it's going to be interesting to see how they react because there's 2 players that have a Dora shape completed already. They're going to want to finish their hand. Korak is Ishanten pretty wide, too.
That's Tenpai for the 7-so for Jonathan, although it's not winnable.
Yeah, this basically will never have a Yaku. And Jonathan's just saying, I understand what's happening with the dealer, and I'm not going to deal into it. If I draw a Sozu, I'll play around that instead of dealing it out. But at least I can hope for K10. Korak with the West has to consider how badly he wants to fight here.
West doesn't seem awful. If you deal in on the West, it is almost certainly Bakahon.
And
I could only be two Han. As dealer, that's still not awesome, but
right. Korak can eliminate most of the value honors except for the Hatsu. I think I only see one discarded. So that could be a concealed triplet, but it's somewhat unlikely. It is more likely to be Bakahon. So
yeah, with seeing that it was an obvious late flush shift, that makes me doubt that there was an Anko of Hatsu in hand even more than normal.
Yeah, now it's become revealed to be safe. So at this point, Korak's hand is pretty much totally gone, and he will just fold out. In the meantime, there is Tenpai on the left for Peter, not willing to take this Ricci, though. It is Fudi 10. Jonathan willing to jam the 8-so to his hand as well. Julian not going to get there. Peter stopped the flow of tiles, just continued to hold all the Sozu, and ended up finding a Tenpai of his own. Redrawing some of those So tiles that were going to leave that hand.
Yeah. That's one of the issues I feel like with late shifts towards a flush, is that it makes choking that person a little bit easier, but at the same time, if people are obviously having to choke you, then their hands are not developing either. That easily could have been an everyone no 10 situation at the end.
Right, that's why it's really frustrating as that player who's forcing the Chinitsu to see two players Tenpai, not just one, two, manage to dance around your hand, prevent you from getting your tiles, and get Tenpai of their own.
But it seems like this has been a really quick game. I hadn't even realized that we were already in South 2. We've been kind of blazing along. A lot of open hands, and those open hands winning. That was, I think, our second exhaustive draw, maybe?
Yeah, and these players playing quite confidently as well, not really tanking so much on their decisions. They're very comfortable with their moves. Korak here considering opening up for Tanya, but lets it slide. Maybe not enough value for him to consider at this stage of the game. As you said, South 2.
Actually, Peter as well could have opened up on that 2-pin and discarded 5-so, 7-so. Because, I mean, I don't know if that's a good play, but it's something interesting to consider when you have two Yakuhai pairs. Like, there's no way for you to end up Atazuke. It's impossible. You're always going to end up with a guaranteed Yaku. Yes. And now just ends up tossing the nice 3-4 Ryanman. Yes. Likes the pawnability of the 9-pin and the 7-so.
Really trying to guarantee both Yaku, perhaps, although the Haku is once cut already. Julian with an interesting choice here. Could have considered dropping a diamond shape in the hopes of calling the South straight into Tenpai. Now, if he calls the South, he will still be Ishanten. So this is the plan towards Ricci, and Peter, second call, Haku, and Chun, but Hatsu's thrice cut, so no danger of Daisangun.
And that 9-pin looks perfectly fine to discard for the rest of the table for the most part.
Yeah, that early 6-pin. Really not expecting 9-pin to deal in here.
Although with the 6-pin being Genbutsu, yeah, Julian has a safe choice there.
Still one 9-pin out there.
Jonathan and Julian mochi mochi on the souths. I didn't see Jonathan draw those two souths.
Oh, there's Ricci. Will he take the Shabo or the Diamond? Wait. Sticks with the Diamond. No, Jonathan.
Oh man, immediately draws it.
Incentivized to fight with a potential dealer Mangan, but there's the other two door, and all of a sudden, the tables are turning. It is Jonathan dropping back down to 34, still in the lead, but now it's a really tenuous one by 200 points over Peter and Korak. ends up falling to fourth as a result of Julian winning the hand, and Julian's not stopping there. It's going to be a Honitsu. 2 fast calls.
Not in the Dora suit this time. The Dora is 7-so, which can be used by Peter on the right and is being used by Jonathan on the left. Jonathan actually with a very nice hand. 2 complete shapes, 2 Rionman, and a floating 4-mon.
Korak sees what's happening, is trying to cut it off as best he can with a speedy hand of his own, but it's Haku only. A second door draw for Jonathan now. Peter really struggling to put something together on the right. Does fill in one more shape, though. Will probably end up being a bad weight tempai if we do get there.
Boom. All right, that's tempai now for Korak, waiting on the 2-pin.
Of course, Korak cutting the 4-mon here, just in case the opportunity arises to con, and also by holding the Anko of the 5-mon, you've locked in 4-fu.
Ooh. And there you go. Now we have Toy Toy.
There we go.
Now it does mean you had to discard a pin tile, which the benefit here was it wasn't dealing in. It actually showed that the 1 pin was safe for Peter, who immediately discarded it and allowed Julian to get tempai. Now waiting on that 3 pin that Korak's holding.
And it looks really suspicious now against a 3-call Honitsu. Korak's probably not too worried about the value of that hand, but really just wants to win it. 3-so twice cut, not a good Tonki. He will throw that back.
Yeah, losing your dealership here to the person in 3rd place, and that person in 3rd place getting above 30k, leaving you as the only person beneath 30k, the value of the hand is not very big, but the implications are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if Julian wins this hand, being the only person below. Oh, that could be a weight switch. 4-pin, 5-pin now. That's not making the 3-pin look any safer, but at least if Korak does swap out, he won't deal in now.
All right, we see all the 4-pin, and we see 2 of the 5-pin. There are 2 5-pin left in the wall, and still 1 3-pin in the wall.
Two versus 1. What would win, the multi-sided weight or 3-pin good tile?
Now the issue now is for Julian, if Julian draws the 3-pin, I feel like the 3-pin's just going to come right back out. Because you have Furitin if you discard 6-pin, or just a worst weight if you discard 4-pin.
Yeah, if Julian reads that the 3-6 pin is bad to Korak, he might just cut the 4-pin. Because it is Nakatsuchi.
Well, yeah.
But you're right, it would definitely worsen the weight. Oh, there's the last 3-pin. And that's tempai for Peter, who will cut the 6 and hold a K10 here.
Is Furitin, but could Sumo get a good old Haite?
Furitin Haite Sumo? No. 3 players tempai, and this is fine for Korak.
Were there 2 5-pin in the dead wall?
I think there were. Yeah.
I don't think Jonathan drew another 5-pin. So
no, I think you're right. Yeah, Julian's weight just ended up dying. Oh, look at this for Korak. Dian Shanten with potential 1-2-3 Sanshoku.
And with the Dora 2-pin, do you think Korak would open that?
Oh, absolutely. I think he would have opened it before he drew the 1-so.
What's the plan with the extra 3-so? That's a shape that I feel like it can be easy to toss that 3-so early just because it doesn't, you don't really expect it to become a pair. And even if you do draw into the tiles around it, you're kind of guaranteed to have a slightly worse weight than any other floater. So what are the benefits to holding on to that 3-so?
Yeah, I think Korak hasn't necessarily given up on the idea of Chinitsu.
Boom.
If he continued to draw a bunch of So tiles, I think he probably would have shifted in that direction because that's another callable route to a valuable hand. But with the way things are looking right now, might have to end up sticking with the Sanjika plan. Fast tempo
Do have a
already.
call from Peter with the double south.
Could 8 so into Ishan 10, but it doesn't matter. This is Sumo. Double non-sumo, and Peter taking the lead, 37-1. Will leave 2 players above, 30,000, 2 players below.
Jonathan, real close, though.
Yeah, this is...
As is Julian.
There are some very clear goals for everyone at this table. Most pressure, though, on Korak.
But I mean, a Mangan Sumo would be second and above 30k. So Korak very much still in it.
Absolutely. It looks like no one has a real breakaway hand out of the gate here, so we'll get to see them building something. Peter looks like he's building towards Richidora 1 with potential bad weight in the future.
The 3-pin was a great draw for Julian. Filled in one of those Kanchans, can leave the Ryanman in the Pinsu.
Jonathan, maybe a Tanyao type hand, really just wants to draw Dora and very slow out of the gate here, but 3 Monko certainly helps.
Peter now 1 Shanten.
Ooh, huge draw, fills in that Dora shape, guarantees a good weight, if you consider one's cut, 1 pin, and West to be a good weight.
I feel like most people do.
Yeah, I think it's pretty strong. Jonathan announcing his goal here is no longer to surpass Peter for first, but rather to confirm a second place over 30,000 points. Interesting. Julian not taking the wide shape, prefers to hold the safe 9 so. It ends up pairing it up. Well, out it goes.
If you're Julian, do you Dama this Pinfu?
With having drawn the Dora, I think Julian will try to aim for first. Richi, Tsumo, Pinfu, Dora, Ura, Namangan.
What if you had drawn 6-0 instead?
In that case, I think Julian still has some incentive to reach you because... Oh, well, hang on a second. We've got a battle.
And here's the chase. 4-pin, 7-pin.
Oh, that weight's not very good, though.
There's 1 4-pin and 1 7-pin left in the wall. And as for the 6...
6-9, much more live.
Yeah, 1 more 9 and 3 6s.
4 versus 1 at this point. Advantage Julian.
Oh, there's Tempai. Oh, no, it's not. There's no pair. There's no pair in Jonathan's hand.
Well, after calling the 7 so, we'll have a pair of his choice, should he choose to accept this.
We'd have to discard the 3-mon, which honestly does not look horrible. We see 3-5-mon out.
You could try 7-pin or 6-pin as well. Decides to let it go. Back to Tempai if you want to jam the 7-pin.
Oh, man.
It's safe to 1. Oh, he's going to play safe.
I feel like there you see 3-5-pin, but the 5-pin being the Ricci tile from dealer makes that 7 feel so much more sketchy.
Oh, finds the last.
Oh, there's the 4! And that's going to drop everybody below 30k.
Oh, this is huge. No Ura, but 2,000 all will put Peter over 40,000 points. Everyone below, as you said. So right now, sitting with a bonus Uma and has a great high pie to boot. Could really capitalize on this advantage, but Korak on the left has an exciting hand of his own.
Yeah, it 2 Dora, like, no need to force anything fancy with the wins. You have a Mangan ready-made.
The gap between Korak and Julian is 4,500 points, and there's 1 Homa to consider. So 3 Honsumo will be enough even if he doesn't get Honitsu here.
So probably an instant call of the North, I would expect, if it comes out.
The North not live, though. And now he's got, what, 4 pairs? Still holding out thoughts of Honitsu, perhaps?
Because if you can get Honitsu, North, Dora 3, the Hanuman puts you above 30k. And if you sumo it, that's still not quite enough to pass Peter, unfortunately.
the pathing that Peter's hand has taken is really interesting here. Cutting the early 7-mon and losing the Yamen shape. Sakigiri of the 8 so to accept Dora a little bit better here, and also perhaps set a Sotogawa trap in the future. It's 5th discard, so maybe that doesn't qualify for Sotogawa, but
and then we see 2 immediate pawns from Korak.
Yeah. Oh boy, things are getting spicy here. Khan, yes.
Draws 7 so, flips 2 so as Dora.
Not willing to commit all the way to Honitsu here, because this shape is incredibly wide for Ishan 10. Any call in the Sosu will give you Tempai on the 8-pin. Oh, it's so tempting though. Sticks to his guns though. Still Ishan 10 for Peter. The Peiko chance and Tanyo chance as well. The value continues to potentially improve here.
A good fill-in for Jonathan, improving the shape in the Manzu.
Julian
Now has
well.
the Nazarianman.
Ishan 10 on the right. Oh, Tempai. Dama. Even with the Khan, still Dama.
Oh!
Held. 6 are not coming out just yet. Oh, it's Sumo!
And draws it!
It's good, but it's tragic at the same time. 13 all plus Honba. Oh, imagine Richipatsu Sumo there with 2 indicators. Could have been a huge swing, but even so, this really is locking in a first place for Peter and potentially bonus Uma. Not done yet. Still chances at another 1-2-3 Sanchoku. We haven't seen it come to fruition just yet in this game, but a couple of players have been pretty close to accomplishing that particular Yaku. Right, Julian moving towards maybe a Pifu Tanyao Itsu. All options here. Door acceptance. Across the way. Reasonable shapes for Julian. 2 away from Tempai technically. Oh, sorry, that's Jonathan across the table. No value outside of Richinomi or Hakunomi, but does fill in a nice 8-mon in Dishanten right now. Quark on the left. Again, that gap between him and Julian hasn't changed after the alert symbol, so he's still looking for that.
But now the 2 Honba are a lot more significant, because a 3 Han 30 Fu win off of, say, Jonathan would put Korak in tied for second at 24-6.
That is hilarious.
And in ARML, there is no tiebreaker. You simply split whatever Uma you would have earned.
Yeah, that would be
Peter now Ishanten for the Sanshoku.
Significant swing.
The question is, would you accept 3 Han 30 Fu? I mean, he doesn't have that hand right now, but would you accept a 3 Han 30 Fu raw off of Peter to tie for third?
I think you could absolutely do that in his position. It wouldn't be a bad third at all. And also, if you tie for a 3rd, 4th place, both players get a 3rd place in their record instead of a 4th.
Ooh, that 2-so is useful, so it's not going to deal into Peter.
Still 2-2 on the wall, and it's going to be a Ricci from Julian. Takes the Shaba weight here.
The 8-pin is Suji trapped.
Quark has little else to do but to fight. So what a terrible draw. And Peter might be out here.
The problem is it's going to be a little hard for Peter to fold, and now we have the chase from Jonathan waiting 2-pin, 5-pin, Richi Haku.
Well, this changes the math for Korak, who doesn't necessarily need to win the hand to get out of last place. He could just let one of the players deal into the other and hope that is large enough. Unfortunately, they don't have the Dora. Korak does. So Korak will Mawashi towards a Tanyao.
The Haku looks so scary, though. It's totally live, and you see... Well, Peter just discarded a full shape, so maybe you're not as worried about... Oh, but there's the 7, so...
That's Richinomi, though. That's not enough to do anything for Korak. Let's check the Ura. Son!
Son!
Oh my goodness, and that will bail Korak out. Jonathan unfortunately will drop to last place here. And Julian, big manga on Ura-san to jump over 30k, take the plus 9.2 second place. And Peter, killing it on his final dealership, plus 33.3, will confirm first place in the end. Woo!
Oh,
What?
that feels so rough. Like when you're Jonathan there, like all you could do is be like, okay, that wasn't my fault. Like I chased, I had a better weight,
Mm-hmm.
I had value, I dealt into Richinomi. Like it's there's just absolutely nothing you can do there.
It's not like the 6-0 was particularly live either. I mean, Korak had a pair of the Dora, so there were only two 6-0 in the wall, and just one of them happened to be the Ura indicator. Pushing Julian over. These standings have been updated, so Korak still holding on at the top. Peter climbing, though, 98 now, hoping to break the 100-point barrier soon. And they are not done yet. I imagine they've started their next game already.
Hold on. Peter's rankings there are absurd. 3-3-3-2. Oh, like as evenly balanced as you can possibly be. And plus 98? Like if I saw 3-3-3-2, I would expect like, I don't know, plus 20 maybe ish.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
How have all of the thirds been positive? Like that just seems absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, we'll have to check into that. I do know that in his series against me, he had a really big second place. So that I'm sure that plays a little bit into it. His fourth places must have been very minimal.
Well, Jonathan, after that incredibly unfortunate last, is opening up as dealer here and actually has a really great hand. Still two away, but I mean, it's been two away since the middle of the first row, which you're not typically going to complain about as dealer, especially since you have a Dora Rionman. Peter looks like he's going Honitsu, but still has that 7-8 in hand.
Oh, the real Yaku here is Hatsu Rinchan.
Hatsu, yep. Because you're going to have a Rionman weight whenever you reach Tenpai here. Now, if you draw Forso, what do you do?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, Khan. We'll just chi here. Another speedy but inexpensive hand, waiting 5-8, so. Oh, Korak Tenpai finds the Itsu. Will slam.
3-6-9.
Takame 9-mon, of course.
Two of those 9-mon still left in the wall.
8-so Genbutsu.
Actually,
Julian will play the Sotogawa instead.
Ooh, the 5 and the 8, both in Jonathan's hand now. One of them's going to have to come out.
Yeah, plays out the Genbutsu, and Peter will snipe 1,000 points plus the Ricci stick.
Ooh, Hatsu Anko in Jonathan's hand.
We've seen that Hatsu getting collected.
Although this is another great dealer hand as well. Julian 2 Shanten for possible Tanyao, possible Pinfu. Definitely Dora.
Yeah, as you've been looking at these, I've been looking at the stats for Peter. He did have one positive third, but really the story of his success has been those second places. A nearly 20-point second place, followed by a plus 31.3 second place.
Plus 50 in 2 second places? That might be more than I have in 2 of my firsts.
Exactly.
That is wild.
That's crazy. But Julian Ishanten?
Rionman Ishanten.
Jonathan Ishanten as well.
Would you open on 6-mon drop from Jonathan?
I would not. No, I'm dealer. I want to slam the Ricci here. 2,900, not good enough for me.
Now perfect Ishanten.
Ask me
This would
again in
be
4 turns, though.
yeah.
Each.
Oh,
As it gets later.
and
Now
then the
we
Ricci.
now
Yeah,
we have
sure.
the Ricci.
I'll take it. I'll cheat this.
Chi.
All right.
So Julian's
And
willing
that-
to take the fight here. 29.
Jonathan with a possible Sananko could get 3 concealed
Oh
triplets.
my, just willing to jam the Dora as well after a 6-mon Ricci. Just says my Tempai is worth more than the potential deal in here.
And the end of this game is going to constitute the halfway point of the season. So we're not exactly just super early anymore. We're now at the point where people are going to have to start thinking a lot more about where they are in the standings.
Yeah, Julian just says, I'm taking this fight. Doesn't matter what you have.
Oh, but there's the 3-so.
Dong.
That will lead to the dealer Ricci. Hatsu. Uda. That'll be the 6,400.
Is it appropriate to call Ron Takame? Like, Ron's always Takame, I guess. But, like, Sumo had so much more value there that, especially as dealer, dealing in on 3-so would have been infinitely better than Jonathan sumoing on 3-so. Well, not infinitely better. A few thousand points. We can quantify it. I don't need to be hyperbolic, but...
Yeah, what would that have been? A Ricci, Tsumo, Sanko, Hatsu, Ura?
Yeah, that'd have been a Hanuman.
So Julian ended
would've-
up paying out 400 more points by dealing indirectly than he would have by Tsumo. But you know, everyone else is eating some points by Tsumo too, so he's not taking the brunt of it alone.
Well, but like, there's less of an exchange directly though, because it's an 18,000 total.
Yeah, I mean, there's different things at stake here. If your goal is to, like, Jonathan is still close to the rest of the pack, so he hasn't really pulled away. You can still come back. If he Tsumos, then he's really dominant position over everybody. It's more of a group pain than individual pain sort of situation. Speaking of individual pain, how about dropping the door only to draw the door immediately afterwards? I'm very familiar with that type of pain.
Yeah, especially when Dora's a guest wins.
Right, and
It's just
wasn't efficient to keep anymore. Julian working towards a Nomi hand though currently, and Jonathan is just gonna shut this down with a Haku only hand of his own, waiting on Sanzo.
a Sanso, which rates to more than likely come out of Julian's hand eventually, should they reach Tempai.
Yeah, and Jonathan had been playing for this weight with the cuts of the 8-mon, 6-mon. If he hadn't cut those, I would consider jamming the 1-so, 2-so, breaking Tempai and trying to rebuild in the Manzu, or even the upper Sozu. But being massively shooty there is going to change the equation.
Korak winning on that 2-pin the turn he found Tempai.
That will shut it down. 30,000 points for Korak moving into his first dealership in East 4.
We've seen so much danger, but it seems like so far the small hands are winning at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, you know everyone at this table can build a monster, so why give them the opportunity when you can just shut it down?
And this is a beautiful 2-away for Korak.
Interesting, you know, opportunity here. Because the shapes aren't so bad, Korak can, again, open up with the Chun, go for 1,500 points in a dealer repeat, especially not having any door in his hand. At the same time, if he wants to roll the dice for a little bit more, he can aim for Ricci here.
And now it's not so much of a dice roll. Like passing the first Chun, I think is a lot easier to do than normal.
Absolutely.
With these shapes. Well, hold on. There are 2 6-mon discarded across the table. That's a little bit worrisome as you start to see your Ryanman die.
Although he might not even want the Diamond Weight, he might choose to take the Shabo instead. And Manzu looked very cheap, and he really wants to win on the Chun anyway.
There's Tempai.
Yeah, really thinking about this choice here. Does take the Shabo.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense. And 5-mon, which usually is not a good weight, really does not look awful with that. Like 8-8-7-4. Like,
Especially if we start to see more 4-mon leave other players' hands, I wouldn't be surprised to see the 5. Especially because, in particular because Jonathan has a pair of Dora, might really want to play for this hand. And you see him trying to make something happen with 9-so Sotogawa play.
that's interesting, discarding the 2-so once it becomes Genbutsu. I feel like discarding 9-so again there makes a lot of sense. Actually, how many pairs is that? 4 pairs?
Yeah.
Maybe can wiggle into a Chi toy trying to play defensive.
You can certainly think about, but now 5-so's Genbutsu. Sticks with the 9-so this time, not playing for full safety. There's a third 6-mon, by the way, and a 4-mon did leave Peter's hand, so those middle mon tiles starting to look better. All the 6-mon out. Now, if Korak can just clear out some of these lower mon tiles, that 5 is going to look really safe. Think of like a 2-mon discard or another 4-mon discard.
Meanwhile, Julian drawing some nonsense over there.
Oh my. He might...
Could discard 4-so.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, but instead goes with the 2-so. I mean, this is a route to a tempo that doesn't involve discarding the 6-so.
Sumo.
Oh, there it is.
Oh,
finally.
it is the sumo.
Shun buried so deep in the wall, but without 2, that's going to be a Mangan.
Man. And now Korak with a commanding lead.
Yeah, dealer Mangan will do that. Saipai, pretty average. Not amazing, not terrible. Definitely workable from the dealer's perspective. Peter is going to try to speed up his own hand on the left, 2 away from Tenpai, but for Haku only.
Kang.
Oh, a pause. I was trying to figure out what the pause was, and then I saw that Jonathan had the Anko.
Yeah.
West.
I was thinking, I was looking at that and thinking, does he want to con here? If he thinks he has to open this hand anyway in order to win, he might con it and try to get some extra value out of this. And Jonathan is a player that does this. I've seen him do this before, so I'm not surprised at all to see this con from Jonathan.
As South too, I feel like there's a little bit more benefit than usual, just because you're getting to skip dealer's draw, and you're getting a draw yourself.
Yeah, I don't think I personally would be able to make this con. I don't think.
Oh,
my
I
shapes are good
don't.
enough.
I mean, con almost ever.
But
I can see some arguments for it.
if my shapes were better and I did anticipate calling, I do think you definitely could make that play.
Oh, okay. It would have been fun. I was wondering why Peter tossed the 5-mon back, and then I saw the 2-4-mon. But now Tenpai just waiting on the 7.
Not a live tile at 7. Only 1 left in the wall. Julian, Ishanta, and Korak getting close. 2 away from Tenpai, although most normal draws involve him discarding the 7-mon.
Jonathan to Shanten actually is ended up at a Honitsu. Now Shanten.
Yeah, and this I think was the expected path for Jonathan here. Korak has an excuse to hold both the 6-mon and the 7-mon now. Go with the 6-pin for start. Probably move into a Tanya in the future. Dora is the 1-pin, so he doesn't want to commit completely. But allowing Jonathan to win here isn't exactly what he's looking for either. This one is safe.
No, not Tenpai yet.
Super wide, though.
Can accept any Monzu?
Except for the 9-mon.
Not 9-mon, yeah.
Although
There's
I could
Dora.
accept the 9-mon and con it.
Only one Sha has been discarded. All right, there's Tenpai. Do you take? Well, I guess 2-mon, 3-mon really is just the most reasonable weight there.
Yeah, if you plan to discard the 2 or the 3-mon here, you're anticipating switching to a different Tonki in the future. But he's already cut the new Dora West, so sticks with the Shabo. Korak starting to get an excuse to fight here. Just needs to draw 5 8-mon. Unfortunately, those tiles not live around the board.
Yeah, one mon safe. No K10 call there for Julian. Would have been Ishanten.
Sumo.
Oh, and there's the sumo on the 7-mon.
Yeah,
That was
Peter
the last one on the wall.
had been holding that tempai for so long. Finally got there. That will send us into the south round. Well, Korak accomplished his goal
Boom.
on his dealership. We've got the early call again from Peter. Never shy about opening up for a Yakuhai. Calls the West Wind early. We'll see if he ends up in Honitsu or if he ends up using this Dora Diamond Shape 3-4 Mon. In the meantime, Jonathan's making good progress. It could be a Tanyao. Maybe even thinking about cutting the 9-so here. Yeah, it does hold out for that chance at 6-7-8
Eat.
Sanchoku, but Ricci from Julian, super fast. Ricci, Dora 1, waiting for 7-pin. Jonathan will hold the Ishanten.
That's very live in the wall. Still 6 left.
Oh, make that 5. Make that 4.
Make that 4. Although
It's really awkward for Jonathan, though.
yeah, that's troublesome.
Sumo.
Yeah, 8 so. Oh, I'm gonna get the sumo.
The last 2 tiles of the wall, 4-pin, 7-pin, 7-pin. Hits the Uda as well. Oh, that's a huge swing. 200 points over Jonathan now is
And
our new dealer.
Only Korak above 30K.
That's another good point. So things have become very interesting now.
We've seen so much Ura at this table.
That Uda-san at the end of last game was a huge moment, but Korak with the 2 Uda to make dealer Mangan. Julian hitting an Uda here to find a Mangan of his own. And yeah, these Richis have been massively rewarded in this game.
Home.
This is a nice looking dealer hand, but it's still 2 away.
Got some flexibility in the Manzu. Of course, Julian is going to make a shape around this Dora. The question is, what will the final shape be? Will it be an Itsu type shape in the Sozu with an 8-so or 9-so draw? Or will it be a Manzu, perhaps 2-3-4 Sanchoku type draw?
Or it could just end up with a boring Ricci waiting Kanchan around the Dora.
Nah, we don't think about that option. Korak has his blocks basically set here, so he'll hold his safest tile and continue to upgrade that safe tile until he makes progress. Could have even tried holding 2 safe tiles, but wasn't willing to give up the extra efficiency of this 8-pin. And now Ishantan.
Julian giving up the Itsu for the 5th block, drawing the 1
Gee.
mon.
Yeah, 1 mon. So sad, but he can still upgrade that shape. And Peter will open up for Itsu, confirmed after that call.
Yep, the pure straight in the pin.
Sees 1 more block here. Kutsuki, Sticky, Shanten, waiting for something to connect to this 2-mon or this 7-so.
There's one of those upgrades you were talking about. That 2-3-4 Sanshoku, the mixed triple sequence, looking a lot more live for Julian. Tempai now for Korak, waiting 4-mon, 7-mon.
Yeah, that waits. 3 left in the wall. Oh, another 2-pin here. It breaks, says, you know what, this is Tanyao.
Take the guaranteed 1 Han improvement rather than holding out for a possible 2 Han. We have an upgrade. Well, maybe an upgrade. Is now waiting 6-mon, 7-mon. Korak is.
Oh, and that's an extra 7-mon in Jonathan's hand if he makes progress.
The real benefit for Korak here is that if Korak draws the 6-pin, then he has the potential for Sanshoku.
That
And get the
is
7-8.
very, very true. At this point, Jonathan is, hit the 3rd row, and Jonathan is really struggling.
There it
to make
is!
something happen.
The 3-pin!
All right, show me the 2-mon. 2, 3, 4 can't lose.
Oh, there it
As
is!
expected.
Boom.
Dama!
Pinfu, Sancho Now Dora. That's 12,000 points right back. And Julian
And
takes over.
That's gonna put
It's 12
Korak
places.
underneath 30K, yeah.
Huge from Julian. I'm not sure many players would be able to resist the Ricci there, but gets incredibly rewarded there with the Takametuman.
There, Dora East coming into Julian's hand after that fantastic Dama.
I'm thinking I'm gonna get a complaint from Korak later for manifesting that Tumon into existence. That's okay. It will be interesting to see if Julian can manifest another East in his hand. That would incredibly swing his outlook on the potential. I mean, I think Julian's going to be playing for this East until the end of the round. Because the Tuso, now twice discarded, makes that 1-3 Conchan really rough. On the right, that hand's making a lot of progress. It is Ishantem.
Need to draw the 4-mon to get any value out of it.
And even then, that would just give Pinfu, Ricci Pinfu, at least it's something. It's something, especially when your score is 26-4, and you are so close to 2 other players.
And it buys you your dealership as well.
Mm-hmm. Korak making great progress across the table, but decides now's the time to get rid of the East. Jonathan immediately discards his as well, and Julian, what say you? Yeah, let's go. All the Dora being eliminated from this round, and that, another thing that will change your outlook on the hand. Now the Dora is not in play. What does that mean about the potential value of these upcoming Riccis? And the answer is probably not too value unless you're sitting there Dama with Tanya Pinfu, Sanchoku.
Well, there's a unwinnable Dama on the right for Peter, not willing to call Ricci, waiting just on 4-mon. Is going to wait at least 1 turn.
That's an interesting choice to not even break the Tempai when you have a potential Diamond in the Sozu. Could have even just elected to hold a headless shape, cutting the 7-so right back. Or rather, discarding the 7-so.
Is everybody Ishanten?
It looks
now
like
everybody's Ishanten. With that 9-pin draw, everybody officially won away. Well, I guess Peter's not one away. Peter's just there, but
yeah, Julian
is effectively Ishanten not being able to win.
Julian was tanking on that decision a bit, just deciding which was the safest tile to keep. Decided the 1-so was safe, and that ends up being a really good choice because the 2-mon would deal in here. So now he has 1 safe tile to pass. That's a luxury you are afforded when you've got your shapes pretty much confirmed. And Peter will Smokey D. Ricci says, you know what? I've been Tempai long before you. I'll take this fight.
And the 4-mon, can't be used by Jonathan more than likely. And now we have Tempai. This is going to be a chase, waiting 3-pin, 6-pin. Always love getting chased by dealer.
By always, you mean never, right?
Yes.
Gonna be an interesting one here. 3 tiles for the dealer. Oh, finds the 4.
Don't.
And that Conchan ends up beating much better weights.
A massive Ricci-nomi with all those Riccis. It got Peter all the way up to 30K.
So into South 3. We'll see if Peter can hold on to this lead. Remember, any Tsumo by the other players will drop him back below.
Although it just as easily might get them above.
That's true. We'll see what happens. This Hypai looks like it wants to move towards a Pinhu. Kind of sequences-based shapes here, although we've got that difficult Conchan in the lower Sosu 3-5 shape. On the right, Korak also looking to build sequences, holding the 1-2-2, so just in case he can find the 3-so and make a sequence there. Otherwise, we might end up on a Shaba weight in the future. Across the table, that's already Ishanten for Jonathan. Ricci Dora 1. Could even be Pinfu if he finds the 7-so.
And Julian abandoning the idea of a straight, abandoning the Itsu, discarding the 1-mon there on the 9-mon draw.
but very good shapes. Unfortunate overlap with the 4-5 Dianmen shape and the 7-8 so Dianmen shape. However, our plan is to cut 9-9, hopefully draw the 6-0, and Sumo Takame, expensive side 3-0 or 6-0 for Richi Tanyao Pinhu Tsumo Tora. And maybe even hidden Ura as well.
I mean, might as well.
Yeah, well, we're dreaming, might as well dream big. Oh,
Yeet.
there's the huge draw. Fills in the door shape, slams a Richi. 4-7 pin is the weight, and it's live. It is super live. 3-4 pin in the wall, 1-7 pin in the wall.
Sumo.
There it is.
Pop Sumo. We've got an Ura to flip. Hits 2!
And there's 2!
It's a Hanuman for Jonathan, and we've got a new leader.
Everything's still so tight here. Oh god, I hate being in this position in Korak's seat. You're in third by 400 points and you're a dealer, so essentially any sumo is gonna drop you into fourth.
Yeah, 300, 500, that's okay. 400, 700, that's okay. But I think anything
Barely.
beyond that, 500, 1000, you're gone. You're fourth.
Korak with some decent shapes here. That really helps drawing into that 6, 7, 7, 8. Now you have a Ryanman. Still has a couple of pairs and is keeping these Yakuhai, keeping the white and green dragons to try and speed this hand up. Although we see the white dragons across the table in Julian's hand, and then Jonathan holding one of the Hatsu as well on the right.
Although interesting for Julian across the table, with the pair of white dragons, also 4 more pairs.
Boom.
That's Chitwa Ishanten, but chooses to open instead.
Which I find,
Haku,
is there, there's not,
Toy.
yeah, if you have to get all triples. You've got to get the Toy, I think.
Yeah, probably.
Well, but even with Toy,
Yeah,
it's
probably going to be 52. Like, you're anticipating calling the 9 pin. And if you draw an Anko, that will also guarantee 52. So that would be enough. Versus Richi Chitoi, which is, 3,200, might not be enough. Could be Sumo for 64, that would be enough. Or hit Ura 2 for Mangan, that would be enough. It is a bit of a gamble, though, so we'll see if that last 9 pin can come out.
The 8-mon also typically does not feel like a bad tile to be able to pawn, although we do see that they are both being used by Korak and Peter.
Although Korak is really hoping to draw a 5-mon to upgrade the shape from a 6-8 to a 5-6 double-sided shape. With his call, Julian's discards are very strange. 3-mon, 5-pin, 7-so, 8-so, followed by a Tsumokiri 6-so. It really feels like it wants to be not a sequence-based hand, so a triplets-based hand. It really feels like a toy. And when that's the case, you're a little bit worried that they've got Dora. But Korak passed the 1-mon, which allows Jonathan to pass the 1-mon, and that means there's not a Dora pair in Julian's hand. Something the players will definitely be aware of.
Korak, for a second there, was kind of leaning towards a full flush towards Chinitsu, it seemed. Now, Korak is in a sort of dangerous position. If Korak is not Tenpai, but Peter is, Korak will drop to 4th place.
Oh.
Ooh, another 6.
6-so draw. A bit of a punish for the 9-so. Will be a little bit more efficient hand, but still has blocks for Chinitsu. Problem is, once you show Chinitsu, it could stem the flow of tiles.
There's Tenpai for Peter. Can't win on that 8 pin.
Yes, needs to reach you this. Has not, and probably will not, given that.
Yeet.
Oh, but does!
Okay.
That feels so dangerous.
Well, Korak Ishanten has to fight. Has to be Tenpai, as you said. Can you call this for K10? Has to get through 4 more draws.
Boom.
Will, though. 2 tiles on the wall for Peter, and Korak just needs to hope he doesn't draw any of them.
1
Oh, cheese.
So he thinks
And is forced to discard out of Tempai, trying to get to a Tanyao?
yeah, he thinks he can draw back into Tempai here. Oh, but the 3 comes out, and that's not. Oh, that's Jonathan Tempai. Not going to take the win there because why? Is it 50-10? I'm not seeing it. Is this sumo enough?
There's
Sumo.
Sumo.
Was this a target attempt? A hit job on Korak?
Or maybe a hit job on Julian to try and drop Julian below 30k.
Oh, is that
That's what I think is more likely.
interesting?
Because hitting Julian gives you a lot more value. I mean, there's really no reason to target Korak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's just a sort of end result here of passing the win there on Peter, and of course winning Tanyao Sanshoku off of Peter nets him 5,200 points. But if you can hit Julian, that nets him 10,200 points. And in the end, fell to Tsumo instead, and got a pretty massive reward, even if he didn't knock Julian below 30,000. So
Still got the upgraded value from the Sumo.
Absolutely.
And as we said before, essentially any Sumo is going to pull Korak into fourth. Although that kind of changed after Peter tossed in the Ricci stick, but unfortunately that being a Mangon.
Yeah, I would love to hear from Jonathan, if at all possible, to see his thoughts behind that. But in the end, Jonathan will pull back ahead towards escaping the relegation zone with their series complete. Korak still in the lead in A1. Looks like the most recent game to have started is also an A1 match, so perhaps we can turn our attention to that.
Let's see, that was... and that wasn't that long ago, so we haven't even missed much.
Yeah, barely a minute.
Oh.
We join in East 1.
And this is not this table's first game of the night. In their previous game, Viet was first, Leon second, Kenyon third, and Oliver fourth, with pretty normal scores. Nothing wild. The only weird part about that game was, I guess, that it was 42 minutes. So, getting a little bit on the longer side. But I was trying to figure out why their second game was just starting when we've already watched 2 full games from the other A1 table, which their first game started at the same time. Maybe they took a break between rounds.
Yeah, I mean, those players that we were watching are very fast. Perhaps this table a little bit more paced.
This hand is zany. I think is the appropriate and logical explanation or description of this hand.
Yeah, unfortunately for Leon, though, he's likely to deal in here unless something crazy happens, like a Viet Ricci encouraging a fold. For So Nakasuji, so Kenyon will still play that out. 3-pin Genbutsu. It was called by Kenyon off of a Viet discard. Two-pin very safe, but he'll his back out. Leon's done. So it's on to Kenyon to continue to push here, and she will.
Seeing all of the 3-pin and seeing almost all of the 7-pin, the 4-pin doesn't feel horrible.
Well, seeing the 7 pins doesn't make me think the E4 is safer.
It's not that it's safer. It's just you don't really expect people to, especially in A1. I feel like it's a lot rarer to see those sorts of that specific kind of bad weight where they have a Rionman where one side's already been called. I feel like a lot of times you see players discard those shapes away before they end up having to call Ricci on it.
That's true. In the end, Kenyon will find the Tsum on the last tune, and Leon looks at that and feels incredibly rewarded for avoiding the discard of that tile. I mean, the wall kept tempting him to get back into fighting, even after discarding 4 south winds. He paired up the east, had one more honor tile pair in hand, was really encouraging him to fight for it, but found the
Home.
2-pin safety and will escape.
We have an early call from
Gee.
Oliver here.
Oh, this is crazy. So this is what you do
What?
when you have two
Home.
off-wind pairs.
Is it?
It is. You call and you hope for Toy Toy or Honitsu.
But what? But how? Like, what's our? We hope, right? We hope. We dream. We're mahjong players. That's all we do. But like, how likely is that to occur with this hand? Like, in actuality, like
Yeah.
we had 3 Honitsu blocks and 3 Toy Toy blocks. Like, we're so far away from any of that.
Yeah, normally you have better blocks
Home.
than these. But then you also have to consider what is the
Home.
likelihood that we win the hand if we don't call, if we're just stuck with 2 honor pairs in our hand. At that point, you might as well just drop those wind pairs and move on to something else, like play for Chi Toy.
We do see
Sumo.
Tenpai for Leon immediately sumos.
Tanya Door 1 will end the dreams. Oliver was kind of making it work. He ended up having the 2 pairs and the Dora Tonki in the future, so he's not going to win, though, in the face of a fast Tanyao. And hello,
Ooh.
Kenyon, what is this?
This is the dealer hand that I want next time I play mahjong. This
The one downside to what she's showing us is that all the 3 pins are held. Every single one of them is not
What?
just held,
Oh
but
my God.
locked in. And she
But you
desperately
don't-
needs a 3 here. She doesn't.
You
isn't
don't
forced
have
to use
to.
it, but is highly encouraged to use one.
all we have to do is draw a 5-pin, and then the 3-pin seems. Although, I guess she could get in trouble if she tries to force a pure straight. If she tries to force Itsu.
Or if you draw something like a 1-pin and a 9-pin and dreams bigger.
Oh,
I mean, those tiles are live in the wall. Just saying.
have we had a 9 gates in ARML yet?
I do not believe we have.
Be fun to see a Churin.
I do know there has been an open Chuden. And just check the chat. Jonathan confirming that he was trying to aim for Julian to get below 30,000 points in that game, but ended up just sumoing himself. That is some strong play.
Ryanman,
gutsy play.
Ishanten for Leon across the table.
Chi.
With 1 Dora. And then Kenyon electing not to Chi the 6-pin.
I feel like we've been seeing that type of greedy play a lot recently in Armel. That's the second past win in 2 days that I've seen.
Tenpai for Leon, doesn't call Ricci. Was the other past win for similar reasons?
Oh yeah, they were targeting first place.
This is going to be a deal in. That sneaky, concealed Yakuhai deal in. It doesn't even change placements. For Leon, at least. I guess Viet did go above Oliver with that win.
Yeah, maybe in session 3, players are already considering passing wins to try to accomplish their UMA goals. It's quite exciting. Right, so Viet in the dealer seat now. This is a hand that's going to use some massaging. We're going to start with these terminal tiles, hold the potential Yakuhai pairs, and see what comes in the near future. Anybody looking better? Leon on the right, potential 2-4 Sanchoku. We'll probably be aiming for reaching that hand, hoping for a Dora draw. Oliver already has a Dora in the hand across the way. Ishantan.
Now,
Dion Shantan.
I didn't think any hands looked better, but now that 3-pin comes into Oliver's hand.
Yeah, it definitely feels like it's taking charge here.
It is now Ishanten.
You're right. It is Ishantan.
It's just usually an unhappy Ishanten.
You know, there's some hands that are one away from Tenpai where the Tenpai is so bad you just don't even consider it. This one is not that case. Like, we could draw 5-7 and be very happy.
What's Kenyon forcing over here? Tossed the 6-mon earlier. Do you think that's just a Sotogawa trap, or do you think she's dreaming bigger?
I think it's both. I think it's a Sanchoku hedge, and it could act as a Sotogawa trap in the future. Jonathan, actually, in the previous game, did something similar with a 6-mon as well, cutting a 6 from a 6-8-9.
We did see that 5-so draw that you mentioned for Oliver, so it is Ricci Pin Fudora.
Yeah, that's excellent. It feels like he wins a Mongon here. I have nothing to back that up, but it just feels like the Uda is there.
We've seen so much of it. The only issue is this is not a very live weight. We see every single 5-so and 2 of the 2-so. So 2-so left on the wall.
Yeah, notably, Kenyon finding that 7-mon, so is Ishantem. Oh, and this Tenpai.
So yeah,
it's Junchan San. She has to fight here.
Oh wait. This isn't Tenpai.
Oh, no,
this
you're
isn't
right.
Tenpai. There's no pair.
Yeah,
it's an incredibly juicy one away, but
my brain's like, oh, that's got to be Junchan Sancho with the dream. No, not quite, not quite. Ooh, and a Dora draw now. So we could back away from this with 8-so, 9-so, with the 2-so instead.
Oh, but 2-so.
Yeah, sticking with the maximum greed, and does pay.
There's the aura.
It just felt like it was sitting there underneath that 5-so. Mongon for Oliver
to take the lead going into South 1.
We are now in the dealer seat. Not a bad high pie. You've got 2 completed shapes in the pins already, and you've got blocks elsewhere. So you're really looking to upgrade your current shapes and find your pair. And those are very natural things to happen. Well, how about just fill
there's
immediately
God, I would Chun Tonki feels, I mean, it's cheap, but it feels very winnable. To if I were Leon. Now we see that the Chun were all over the place, and actually it ended up getting discarded before that could come to fruition.
Although Kenyon, after that call, 2 away from Tenpai with Dora Hatsu pair in hand.
And doesn't have to call the Hatsu with the Chun already called. There's Tenpai.
Oh, she's not.
No, it's
taking
not.
The
That's a 3-3-4. I see. I thought it was 2-3-4.
Yeah, but going for even more. She wants a Mongon plus here. We're going for Hane.
No Ricci from Leon. Chitoy Ishanten for Viet.
Yeah, that's kind of nice from Viet because he can Dama.
There's Tenpai.
How does the what's pace?
Oh, God, North feels so good.
Yeah,
North feels so good.
And they're all in the wall, so we'll see if anyone draws it.
Well, 2. The 2 that are left are in the wall.
Right. They're not held by players, so it's not going to be dealt out on Ippatsu or something along those lines.
Oh, I can't resist Paid Tonki. It's like an instant anytime I get it. Well, and now Kenyon in kind of an awkward situation isn't Tenpai, but also only has 4 tiles.
Right. I mean,
this
she's
is
still
Tenpai for Leon.
Oh, back into Tenpai this time with.
And 2-sos to get Butsu.
Ethriso's got to come out here. And the 7-pin immediately. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Kenyon backs her way into a Tenpai and snipes away the Ricci stick too. Yeah, didn't need to commit to Honitsu anymore because she had the Yakuhai and the Dora pair. Already had the value in hand.
Well, and it felt like that was also equally Leon's hand to win. Had a Genbutsu Dama wait for Pinfu.
Yeah, but
timing. That doesn't win. The Pei Tonki doesn't win. It's the 7-pin.
Incredible. Well, we do see another player starting with double Yakuhai pair. However, this time, one of them is not, neither of them is the Dora, I should say. Hatsuchun. Could be a fast hand for Leon, but we'll wait to see how expensive that ends up becoming.
Also expect Oliver's hand to be very fast, of course.
Ishanten already. Wider Ishanten.
Toss 7-so?
How greedy do you want to get? Yeah, Oliver is going to hold out for the Ipeco chance.
Yeah, leave the ability to draw 8-so. Although with even just one 9-so gone, the second 9-so got discarded after that decision was made.
Oh, and now...
Eats.
Well, we're going to hope that fourth 9-so is somewhere soon in the wall.
And there's one 9-so and one 6-so still in the wall.
Oh, if Leon finds Tempai for Chitoi, he might try the 6-so. No. Just going to stay away. Hatu Hatsu. Resisting temptation. It's got a kind of interesting choice here. He's working towards a Sanchoku, but looks like he is just going to be out of it as well. A bit difficult to play a safe tile without completely destroying your hand. So maybe one pin. But if he really wants to be out, 7 mon.
Yeah, one pin feels like the best safe, but not totally giving up yet discard. I mean, the West also is... If the West does deal in, it doesn't give any extra Yaku.
Now we see the pace of play slowing down drastically here as everyone tries to defend against a dealer Ricci. Always super scary.
Yeah, especially turn 5.
Really look too closely at Kenyon's hand. Looks like she is also really doesn't have anything to play for here. The only player with a Dora is Viet across the table, and his best bet was Chitoi.
Sumo.
So draws the cheap end for that sumo. No Ura this time, but that's still enough to widen Oliver's lead. Oh, and opens up 2 Dora.
Oof.
And 5 blocks, so this is starting 2 away.
Yeah, very interested in seeing how he plays this, because that 8-9 mon Penchant not very strong. He has Tanya routes as well. So it seems like there's a lot of worlds in which he just cuts the 9 and 8 mon. The 2 pin draw certainly helps because it gives him 2 blocks in the Pinzu for Tanya, if you consider that as a 2-3-4 and a 5-7 Kanchan with an 8 pin pair.
Here's a bit of an academic hypothetical question for you here, seeing Oliver opening 2 away as dealer. The average high pie Shanten is 3.5.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you get a hand that opens 2 Shanten, that's always a good hand. But what if you open 3 Shanten? Like, when you open 3 Shanten, you're ahead of average. But 3.5 is just the average across all hands. At any given table, is there enough variance where if you open 3 Shanten, you expect someone opened a hand better than you?
That sounds like an interesting question to ask Viet, who's well known to be very confident in the statistics of Mahjong.
I can't answer the question currently because he is playing.
Oh, interesting choice here. Is it a Tanya or is it an Itsu? We'll play for the sequences now.
And this is more efficient. The perfect Ishanten.
Of course,
can end up Rhiannon weight no matter what.
Yeah, if you discard the 1 pin back, you've got Tanya calls, and you've got like this 7 pin would be an amazing call because the 8 pin looks super cheap. But
yeah, this is harder to open.
The downside is the acceptance in the upper side, the 6 pin, 9 pin. You're accepting the same tiles twice. That Nidoke is a little bit weak, so we'll just play for the perfect Ishanten.
What's that?
Nidoke. The twice.
Is that the
accepting
word for the overlap?
Yeah.
The Chitoi Ishanten across the way for Viet.
Each.
And there's Tempai for Kenyon, waiting 3 pin, 6 pin. That is Richinomi.
It is a Tempai though, and The hand's not going to do much else if you're not taking this Ricci, so... Tile slammed,
Hey,
stick out.
We only see 2-9 so Ura-san on the table.
Yeah, so we've... Whoa, I see 3 now.
Well, Kenyon.
Oh yeah, Kenyon, yeah. Kenyon can dream about the Ura-san. And hey, you only need 1. Get out. Oliver will try to fight. Oh, gets that.
Ooh, there it is!
Big draw now, 3-6-9. 9 pin twice in the wall for Takame. Itsu.
Oh, there it is!
Oh my goodness, this is going to be a monster. Ricci Patsumo, Pinfu, Itsu, Doratsu. We're looking at Baimon. 8,000 all, 24k going to Oliver's pockets. Plus the Ricci sticks, plus the Honba.
And that takes a very close game, and now Oliver is all of a sudden triple anyone else's score.
Oh goodness. Well, that pretty much seals the deal for Oliver. Now the question is, for the remaining players at this table, how are we going to handle this sudden change of score? And Oliver really needed a big result like this, sitting in 19th place in the standings. If the game were to end here, looking at a plus 44, should monstrously improve the
54?
standings. I'll trust you.
Yeah, it'd be 54.9.
With the full 20 points of Umam. 54.9, you're right. What a massive swing that bait. The game's not over yet. He still has his dealership. He still has potential Chanta Sanchaku.
Could open. Kenyon also has a very nice hand, though. There are 4 pairs, so you can end up Chitoi, but you're not really giving up on 5, 6, 7 Sanshoku, or even just like in a Peiko in the pin. That 5 pin, a great draw for that.
That pair's being collected by Viet as well. It's 3 of them, 4 of them. And not necessarily committing to something like a Chitoi here. Would love to draw a Dora and aim for a Pinfu hand. Speaking of 7, 8, 9, looks like Leon has the same idea. Ishanten on the left.
And Kenyon just pulled a Dora to get to Ishanten for Pinfu, Tanyao, possibly Peiko. Dora 1.
Oh, that is definitely a bomb hand for her.
It would be enough to get her over 30k, more
Okay.
than likely.
Question, if you see 5 Mon, 8 Mon, or 5 pin, 8 pin from Oliver, and you're in Kenyon seat, do you call for Tenpai?
Ooh.
That'd be 2,000. Don't need to. Oh, does she double
That's
for again,
Tenpai.
Peiko?
No.
No.
Just takes the Ricci.
The 8 pin looks so good here from her perspective. Now, to the rest of the table, pin tiles look terrible against her.
Yeah. I would not have faulted Adama there.
Pinfu, Tanya, Dora, the Takame, Ipeko, and Dion Peiko draws as well. You're a little sad if the 8 pin comes out though, and that's the more likely tile to see.
Oliver playing it safe, but can actually still get to Tenpai with this. That is one of the advantages of going Chanta, is that once someone else calls Ricci, it's a lot easier to play around them and keep your hand alive, at least for Tenpai, even if it can't win.
Speaking of playing around, Viet has managed to hold the Ishanten, now draws into Tenpai with the Dora, slams Ricci. It's only on a Penchan, essentially, because all the 9 Mon have been discarded, so Ricci Pinfu waiting on the 6 Mon, but instead Sumo comes in. Kenyon will shut it down. Ricci, Sumo, Pinfu, Tanyao. And the Dora as well with no Ura, only Mangan, but the 2 Ricci sticks will put her over 30,000. So, big dealership for Oliver ends, and big hand to end it for Kenyon, moving into her own.
The 2-5-8, the classic opening shape in any suit.
Few extra seconds taken on that high pie to try to work out what the best possibilities are for this hand. And really, once you see that call, In my mind, at least, the hand is almost over.
Yeah.
You're so outsped by the double
si-
nun hand.
The 6-mon is a nice draw, though.
I mean, you don't give up yet. You still try to play for it, but looks like Viet might even be going bigger in fourth
Yeah, going
place.
Honitsu does need it. 3 Han would not be enough.
Yeah, double nun Honitsudora.
And especially when you're thinking that you are going to be dealer next, and it's very easy to lose small leads as final dealer. Although now it's gonna be hard to throw away an entire shape.
Yeah, direct hit at least from Viet on Leon would be enough to put him ahead going into all last. But as you noted, and as we saw in the other A1 series, small lead is very vulnerable. Tempai for Leon here, not going to take this reach, although the Sanzo immediately comes out. Classic.
I mean, do you even open if the Hatsu comes out?
I think Leon would. Just to try to put a little extra gap between him and Viet, and not let Viet win this hand, more importantly.
Yeah, especially now that you see Viet has 2 calls.
I wonder at what point Leon is pressured to just take this Contra Ricci. It's only, getting worse because one of your tiles has come out for one, and you've given more time for other people to build their hands, so they're more likely to just steal your Ricci stick.
There's the Hatsu, though, and now we have the better weight, the 4-7, so, as you said.
3 tiles in the wall.
But one of them in Oliver's hand could pretty easily come out. Oliver doesn't really have anything to push for with the current hand, but dealing into a 1K would not be the end of the world for him.
Yeah, I mean, the closest person to catching up to him is Kenyon, and she's got her dealership right now. And, one thing that I've learned from experience is you don't really want to be facing Kenyon with a dealership. So, just giving away 1,000 points to end that threat would be an absolute win for Oliver. Now, paying out Mungon by dealing in the 1 pin to Viet, less good here for Oliver. Viet managed to find that huge 3-pin draw, and now has 2 door in the wall for potential Mungon.
Doesn't want to discard 7-pin into Viet's hand, so Leon shifts to 7-pin Tanki.
Yeah, he was being very observant about what's going around the board, was always concerned about potential Honitsu, and even though that's not exactly the case here, 7-pin is a rather dangerous tile, so. 5-mon did come out from Kenyon 3 turns ago. Final door drawn.
The last door. Yep.
That means we are headed to Ryukyoku unless the missing 7 pins find their way as Haite into Leon's hand. Not to be done. All 3 deadwalled. It's pretty incredible.
And some interesting consequences of that exhaustive. Kenyon now very, very close to 30k, much easier to get sumoed underneath, although she's opened a beautiful 2 away.
Oliver not doing too badly across the table as well. Reasonable shapes to anticipate finding a speedy tempai.
Viet's hand isn't horrible, but you're just really stuck on a couple of these bad shapes.
I mean, really taking his time to think about the potential of Sanchoku here and decides that he will play for it. It's like a Tanyel Hedge versus the Sanchoku play, and ended up going in the favor of the Sanchoku.
It's so tough with a hand that looks like it's probably going to be slower than at least one hand around the table, if not all of them. That ability to open gives you something at least.
Mm-hmm. And an open hand, even though it may appear to be inexpensive, can be a threat. Oh, wow. Just perfect draws for Oliver.
Although that 3-so is a great draw for Viet, and Viet does have to push. It's just a matter of how he chooses to push.
Yeah,
Taking the 5-pin to start.
5-so half Suji to the reach tile, but that doesn't really mean anything when it's close to the Dora. I mean, it doesn't really mean anything, period, but it's also close to the Dora, which makes it a little scary.
1 pin is Genbutsu, so we could see a Chi right here, or if not right here. Or do we just go Pinfu?
I think Viet wants to switch here, yeah. He didn't really want to drop the 5-so anyways, and it's a good excuse. The 1-mon, 2-mon do not look safe either by any stretch of the imagination, but especially with the 9-mon, 6-mon, the upper Monzu are probably not in hand for Oliver. So if anything in the Monzu, it's the lower Monzu, but he's already completed his 1, 2, 3 blocks, so Viet will be safe to jam the 2-mon as well.
But now you're seeing all the 1-pin getting discarded.
And by the way, we just saw Kenyan Tenpai for Pinfu, Dora 1, but she had to discard the Dora itself, and not willing to risk that at all. Not surprised to see Viet discarding anything other than the 2-5 Monsuji. Oh, there's another Dora for Kenyan.
But you can work with that. Now it's just a pair. Not going to be able to work with this 9-pin, though, unfortunately.
Yeah, that 9-pin has been the big tile for Oliver. Wins again with a Richie pin for Ipeiko. Uatu again!
Oh my god.
Cannot stop hitting. And, oh, that's going to sting for Viet, who ends up taking another 8,000 point hit. Oliver, though, huge plus 52.5 first place. Kenyan will manage to claim a positive result as well. And Leon, very small negative here as they've finished their second game of the session. Oh, I'm sorry, I haven't updated the little box here, but that was indeed their second game. And Viet taking the minus 41 will end up dropping back down from his plus 80 perch back towards the middle of the pack.
Yeah, I mean, that plus 52.5 is like a season-changing win for Oliver. I mean, you go from like feeling so like you feel like you're triple of the person who's closest to not demoting and Beach in there, and you've now halved that distance, and you feel like, okay, like this is something you can work with. Being down 50 or 60 is so much better than being down 120.
Absolutely. Oh, that Baimon Sumo, though, we'll have to come back to that one. Hopefully someone got a clip of that, because that was a huge result. Just scanning the league to see what's happening around the division. Looks like we had a couple A2 matches starting a couple minutes ago, and one in C1 will be, B3 will be starting soon. Kind of got our pickup games here as well.
We could do the B3 game and take the laps before it starts as an opportunity to take a quick break.
That sounds like a plan. Let's go ahead and do that. We've got 4 minutes before we'll catch Dylan, Alex, Xiangyu, and Noel duking it out in B3. But when we come back, we will bring that to you. I'll see you in a few.
All right, and we are back from our little break. We are going to be jumping into B3. We are going to be watching Dylan, Alex, Zhangyu, and Noel. Should be a nice little table. We see Dylan currently in the promotion zone. Zhang Yu right in the middle of the pack. Alex in the demotion zone, and Noel right on the edge of promotion currently. Now, Noel's only won 5 games, and the rest have played 9. So still a lot of season left to play for them. So this is going to be a very impactful session for all of these players. And we see our first dealer is going to be Dylan, who has opened up with a Dora, 2 complete shapes, a Rionman, and a pair. So not much to complain about here.
Yeah, great. Little high pie here for Dylan. Lots of tall acceptance. And what we really are looking for is something to stick to that 8-so Dora. On the right, Alex has some interesting options here. Could turn this into a simples hand, all simples. Cutting away from the 8-9 shape. Oh, especially with that 4-mon draw. Really looks like a reasonable option here. Try to squeeze in a little extra value. And I like this 2-so keep because we can improve to a couple geometry shapes, and we're not.
Home.
I mean, the 8-so has some 8-mon rather has some utility in that we can just draw the 7 and be tempai. But I like my good shapes. So a couple different ways of playing that.
Perfect Ishanten now for Dylan.
Each.
There's Tempai.
Yeah. The table probably would have noticed the 8-so cut and not have been surprised that there was a Ricci soon after, because usually you don't drop the door until you're close to tempai.
Although Alex breaks at Patsu by cheating the 7-pin and is immediately tempai waiting 3-mon, 5-mon. Now, the 3-mon, well, now it's Suji. So the 3-mon could pretty easily come out of anyone's hand. And if you're Alex, the 3-mon feels like a pretty good weight. But it's going to be the 5-mon that comes out.
Yeah, Alex had the option to cheat that 6-mon even and jam a 5 and try to get a better weight here, but didn't end up needing that. 5-mon comes out straight away, so he picks up the 1,000 points plus the Ricci stick, hops out to an early lead.
And opens up with a pair of Haku. Could be another fast hand for Alex.
Yeah, 1,500 points, totally acceptable. And if you draw a Dora, the pay difficult to use by other players. You could end up with a pair weight on the north and sneak out a little bit of extra value with the Dora Tonki.
There is currently 1 Dora in Noel's hand and 1 in Dylan's.
We'll see if they manage to pair it up. Dylan on the left, of course, can use the north as a value in Yakuhai. He is sitting in the north seat. For Xiangyu on the right, we've got an Ishantan, actually. But it needs a pair to get the good weight, the 3-sided weight in the Manzu. Now, headless. The 4-pin draw is okay. The 5-pin or 3-pin draw are excellent. And some of the Mon draws are... Most of the Mon draws will give tempai, but not the ones you're really looking for with these shapes.
I'm kind of surprised to see Alex discard 1-so, 2-so with his holding here. I was kind of expecting to see 1-mon, 1-mon so that he could hedge Honitsu. I know from a couple Wednesdays ago after commentating with Alex that Alex is quite the dreamer and likes for his hands to be big and fun.
Yeah, Honitsu definitely is a big and fun hand. Although, there is some interesting ideas here. As you noted, the 1-mon is not really amazing because it's come out twice already, meaning this 1-mon 6-so weight is not that great. However, if he does plan to use the 1-mon as the pair, and he draws a better so tile around the 6-so, like the 7-so or the 5-so, he can switch that to a Dianmin weight and not have to worry about the fact that the 1-mon has come out twice. So perhaps was thinking about that as a possible shift for this hand. However, ended up drawing another pair in the 6-mon, so lots of different things happening there at once.
And we see Noel has called the East, is also still holding on to that single north, as is Dylan
And at
on
this
our
point,
left.
Xiangyu on our right also has done the same thing. He's planning to potentially door Donkey here.
And now we have the 1-mon 6-0 Senpai that you were talking about.
So Alex, not really a fan of this weight, wants to swap it out. Speaking of swapping out, there's a big...
There's the Dora Donkey.
Yeah, this was the plan for Noelle all along. Shitsumo's will be an upgrade, but she only has one more in the wall to find. Big question for the other two players is, will it ever leave their hands? And they all can Tonki on the north. We could have 3 players on door Tonki.
And then we have to wonder what happens to Alex if he draws it.
That's right. I'm kind of amazed that neither Dylan nor Xiangyu have drawn. In the template, they both have summon chans.
Did Dylan just fold?
I think he did.
Yeah. Dropped 2-so and then 1-so.
It doesn't like the looks of this 8-so, perhaps.
Although 8-so it just passed.
Mm.
It ends up drawing 2 Chun.
Oh, but that's danger then. He could drop the pay if he finds Tempai again. Fortunately, not going to be possible as the 4-so are all held by Noelle. And in the end, 3 players Tempai. We'll go again with Alex in the dealer seat.
Starting with 2 complete shapes and no other blocks at all. 2 shapes and 7 floaters.
Yeah, door's 9-pin, so we don't want to drop that. You got the Chun or the 8-mon. Kind of awkward shapes, though. We'll see. I think Alex does like Yakuhai, so he'll probably hold on to these. I don't mind just discarding them, especially the Chun. I guess the Chun wasn't once cut, but the East is our double wind. And I really like the idea of drawing around this 5-mon and 6-pin, even if it means we just end up with something like Tanya. Shapes are good, and middle tiles are good at making shapes, so I prefer to hold those. Noelle across the way looks to be calling for a Tanya. Maybe she can work her way towards a Chinitsu though, as we see a lot of mon tiles being pin tiles being collected in that hand.
Dylan with a pair of Haku, which could come out of Xiangyu's hand any second.
Home.
Ishanten now for Dylan.
Yeah, he really wants to use the Stora, but the 8-pin is the indicator, and that's the tile he's lacking in that sequence. 7, 8, 9, so really hard to use. We'll just confirm door usage, though.
Chi.
There's going to be a Chi for Tempai.
Chi.
I assume, yes. So we have Tempai on the 8-pin for Dylan and Tempai on the 7-pin for Noelle.
2 8-pins of the wall, 3 7-pins. Relatively close odds between the two.
The only issue for Dylan is going to be drawing another Dora.
Yeah, that would
because then the 7-pin would naturally come out there.
Ooh.
Oh, and this might actually be a natural flow out of the 8-pin.
No.
Oh no, we're gonna flip to the Chinitsu.
Yeah, this is what I was wondering. Is Noelle going to be greedy enough to aim for it all? And she is.
I don't know about taking this pawn though. That would effectively lock off that 8-pin from being able to be used.
Yeah, good pass.
There's another Dora for Alex.
Oh my, he's kind of cooking something special here because the 2 pins are all gone. They're all held by Noelle in those calls.
Oh, that's Tempai. Waiting on 7-pin.
Oh, she finds it.
Oh, we got it!
Tanya Chinitsu for the full.
I didn't even register the Tanya there.
Well, remember it was Tanya Tempai waiting for 7-pin with an 8-so pair. She replaced the 8-so pair with a 5-pin pair, and so it was the same Tempai 7-pin, but so much more valuable. 5 extra Han more valuable, and Noelle will claim the 43,000 point lead now.
But this isn't a bad opening hand for Shang Yu as dealer. A complete shape and then 3 really good blocks. You can actually count it as 5 blocks if you make the 3-4 and the 4-6 separate.
Yeah, this is a nice high pie in terms of tile acceptance. We'll see what if we can attach something to this 5 so, or even if he thinks about switching to Tanya, perhaps. No, sticks with the current shapes. I mean, they're good enough as they are. So
Dylan opening up on the 6-mon there. That is Dora. This probably is heading towards Atazuke.
yeah, but draws another Dora, so could increase the value a little bit if he continues to draw around that 6-mon.
Doesn't take the 1-mon pawn. Could have. That would have been an advancement in Shanten. Would have been closer.
Yeah, there is something to be said, you know, when you're planning to Atosuke about not revealing that fact that you are Atosuke. And sort of disguising as a Tanya, but now he's in a lot of trouble. There's the Richi, there's the Patsu deal, and on the 3-sided weight, Richi Patsu, Pinhu, no Uda, so only 3,900, but it's gonna be tough to get out of that one for sure.
And Noel just kind of putting the foot on the gas here. Again, this isn't a horrible opening hand. You have a Yakuhai pair. Very easy to call. You actually have 4 pairs, so this could become Chitoi or even Toitoi if you're very lucky. And opening up with the 6-pin is a very bold first discard. I mean, it makes some sense. You have 5 blocks already. If this does turn into a Chitoi, I would love to have a Suji trap already in place. Although I would have kept the 9-pin if that was where my head was at.
Yeah, I'm really liking the thought process here from Noelle. She's not even giving up on the idea of this turning into Honitsu.
Although the question still remains what suit. You'd really prefer for it to become a Mon Honitsu.
But the most likely route for this hand, before that 3-mon draw, was that it just turns into a normal Haku hand. But now that 3-mon draw is pulled in, it's kind of feeling like Chitoi now.
Yeah, with the 3-mon draw, I really think I would. But now we can make it Ishan 10. Well, no, not. Well, we'd still be 2 away for a normal hand.
Yeah, I think Sozu's gonna come out here, and if she does call, she has options to turn this into Toitoi or Honitsu.
If a 7-mon were to come out from Zhangyu, that would kind of be best case scenario for being able to easily make the Honitsu happen.
Yes.
And then the very sad 4-so drop.
And even that's not the worst draw either, because you still have the 3-so acceptance towards a normal hand.
Zhang Yu not drawing has committed to a pin Honitsu here, and it's just not drawn anything in quite a while. And with the Haku being Mochi Mochi, the pair in Zhang Yu's hand and a pair in Noel's hand, there's Chitoi Senpai.
Richi.
Slams the Richi, recognizes that there's a player here who doesn't want to use any Monzu, so... Now, her discards look hilariously Kokushi.
Yes. I'm actually a little surprised to see the 9-so come out from Alex across the way. Well, do we see all the Wests, actually? No, we only see 3.
Well...
Now we have to chase! Oh, no!
Took the door Tonki, but Chitoi will deal into Chitoi.
Noel, 3 consecutive wins. And opening to Dora Anko of the Chun.
We may soon see a scoreline that of the likes of Oliver. She managed to pull this hand, and it looks like she's in a good position to do so.
That 3, would you have taken that 3-pin pawn? Had 3-3-4 in hand.
I think probably not. It's not so bad though. I mean, we have decent Tonki options, but I like my sequences. Maybe if it's Shimocha, I'm even more happy. If it's Kamicha, I definitely pass, because we need blocks right now. We need draws.
And right now she's being slowed down by the fact she's not even drawing middle tiles. Like, not only is she not creating blocks out of what she has, she's not drawing good block candidates.
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking about when I say we need draws. We need to find better tiles than this 1-so and 9-so. And there it is. There's the 6-mon. All right, finally some good draws coming in.
Unfortunately, that is given time for the
Gee.
rest of the table to catch up. We see Alex now 2 calls in, is 1 away
Oh,
for Shaw. What's it called when you've got 3 of the when you got mixed triple sequence?
Sanshoku.
Sanshoku. There we go.
And you know, he had the 6-7-8 in hand already. He intentionally called that because it gave Sancho a chance. So he's definitely being very aware of that. And oh my goodness, Noelle's going for it all. By going for it all, I forgot that she called the 3-pin. But we can't
That's
call it
Tempai.
Tempai.
You just have to click the right button when you
3-5
hit cheat
chi,
here. Probably taking a second to make sure she's visualizing it right. Oh, doesn't take it.
Yeah.
We really wanted to have that.
If you do the 3-5 chi, it's you're left with a 3 and a 4 in your hand, so it's good. Wait, the 5-6 chi, much worse.
Wow, what's
Just drive
Okay.
yourself.
there? You go.
Now this wait is a little bit fishy. There's only 3 left in the wall, but I can see a player that can't use any Monzu. I see 2 players that can't use any Monzu. I mean, those are some pretty good odds.
I feel like Zhang Yu is desperately trying not to have Chitoy here, and Chitoy is just like, no, you will have me. Actually, could have been Ishanten for Rian Peiko had he kept that 4-pin.
Yeah, I
But
wonder.
I think discarded the 4-pin because it was safe.
The 3-pin. The 3-pins were called, so that makes the Gianpico impossible.
Oh, yes, it was dead. You're right.
That's Tempai.
Each.
He's gonna slam. None of the door are visible, so you gotta wonder who's got him. But
How is 6-pin,
Each.
9-pin as a weight?
6 is
No,
gonna come
there's
out on Nippatsu. It's good enough.
Richie Apatsu did Futanyao? No, or so just a Mongon. Although it certainly doesn't feel like just a Mongon if you're Dylan there.
Yeah.
And all of that was just the East round.
Yeah, we've hit the South round. So much has happened already. But Dylan can at least say if he dropped the 5-mon instead, he was dealing into 12k. So this definitely the cheaper of the 2 possibilities.
Opens up with a nice hand here. Has the East, can call, has a Dora 6-mon. Can even get 4-5-6 Sanshoku here.
Absolutely.
Although it is hard to call the East and get 4-5-6 Sanshoku.
Hard, but not impossible.
Kind of one or the other.
Extremely difficult, but there is a way. And yeah, I'm really curious to see if the East comes out, if he'll open up on this. He wants points badly. Reach is a good way to get points. What about you? If the East came out right now, would you call it?
Yes. We have a Dora in our hand. We have something else. It's not like it would be only one Han. And when I'm very far down like this, I tend to take the mindset that if I go for one slow big hand and I don't hit, then I'm in a pretty bad spot losing my final dealership. But if I have a path to a faster Tempai that I feel more confident that I will win, then it's always possible that I will open up something juicier on the next round.
Well, now we see how greedy he gets. He chooses to play it straightforward. Snapping up the Ishantam. I do want to point out an interesting decision that Alex faced on the right. Discarded the 8, so you can see that a couple turns ago. One of the classic decisions that you could also make in that spot is just to discard the 7, so to hold the 6, 7, 8 in hand, leaving yourself with a 3, 4, so incomplete, and a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Mon shape incomplete. Sort of headless shape is very efficient, but Alex instead chose to retain a Samichan and a Jiamen, which are also very wide shapes, guaranteed good weight shapes. I guess it's not
Four.
guaranteed
Eat.
if you draw the.
If you drew into a pair, yeah. But
Well, if you
didn't.
drew the summon shunt first.
And calls Ricci. Now we could just see. Oh, the 5-so doesn't look safe, but it would have given a better weight there. Although I guess it would have been Burton, huh? So still just waiting 4-pin Tonki for Dylan, trying to fight off this Ricci, waiting 2-5-8 mon. There's 1 2-mon left in the wall, no 5-mon, and 2 8-mon.
So 3 tiles versus the 2 tiles for this Tonki. I mean, that's better odds than you'd expect.
9-pin. Oh, wants the 9-pin for the winning possibilities here.
Suji
Was
bait.
not thinking about safety.
Wait, Toyman was Tempai. Will maintain the
Oh.
Tempai, but that's going to deal in. Had the Ipeko Dora 2, and instead we'll hand out 3,900 back to Alex. And that's
And
rough
that
for
draws-
Dylan.
Oh yeah, losing your last dealership like that, especially when you felt like you reached such a winnable Tempai there at the end.
But still got 3 rounds of which to make up the points, especially here with your closest competition on the dealer seat. If you can find a big sumo here, that will definitely help to make up some ground. And drawing a door is a great way to start for Dylan.
Alex opening up the pair of Chun, so can call, has the Dora 3-so in hand. Actually going ahead and cutting the 2-mon early to solidify 1-mon as a pair, which I think is kind of an interesting decision given that Zhang Yu has already discarded one of the 1-mon.
Yeah, Alex really playing hard for this Chun call. Oh, and these draws keep coming for Dylan. Just perfect. Draw after draw after draw. Hits Tempai on turn 3, filling in Kanchan, filling in Penchan, drawing the Dora itself. And this is exactly what he's looking for. If he could get a nice sumo here, that would be huge.
Do you, if, say, Noel discards 9-mon, do you pass?
I think you gotta
I feel like
take
the
it.
weight's I feel like the weight's not good enough to pass, but I mean if you get the direct off of Zhang Yu or Alex, like you feel like you're making up some ground.
Mm-hmm.
But direct off of Noel just feels like such a letdown after you finally gotten a hand.
At the same time, points are points, even if it just ends up being Ricci Dora.
This is Tenpai for Zhang Yu.
Right.
1-pin, 4-pin.
Or rather,
No,
5-pin.
5-pin.
Yep.
Just 5-pin. 5-pin and only 5-pin. I saw the 2, 3, 4, 4 and made assumptions.
It can be improved, though. There are a lot of draws that will help out.
With the 9-so in hand, that cannot be won unless he draws it.
Oh, speaking about drawing it, there's the last 7-pin, and this is what we really want. Now show us an Ura. I tried.
You did your best to get it into existence.
Yeah, I mean, and Dylan did exactly what he needed to in that hand, and now there's a legit chance of getting back to 3rd place. The gap is just over 10,000 points, and there's 2 hands to make that happen.
Zhang Yu with such an interesting dealer hand. Do you force the Honitsu / Chinitsu here?
I mean, I'm so tempted to with the east being the Dora tile.
Making good, cautious, non-committal discards so far. The 1-pin was never really going to do much for us. North probably not going to do much. Hatsu already twice discarded. Yeah, and now that we have a pair outside of the Sozu, much harder to go for the Honitsu. The hand had so much potential on deal, but the draws didn't support it.
I mean, Noelle also with a very interesting hand on the right, kind of similar looking in the sense that she's got all of the pin tiles, but a Sanchoku chance. So we'll see which way she chooses to play here. Given the fact that she's won a Chinitsu in the Pinzu before, I think she might be leaning towards doing it again.
Yeah, or even, I mean, just both being Pinchans, I feel like it makes that a lot weaker. And none of the Sanshoku shapes being finished yet. If even one of them had been finished, it'd be a lot easier. And now that was a great draw for Pinfu.
Don't.
Noelle immediately dealing in.
Yeah,
And if
she.
there's some this is enough to Gyakuten. This is a change of first place. Noelle was in first for so long, and Zhang Yu stealing it with that direct dealer Mangan on Apatsu.
Oh, she found the beautiful 8-pin draw as well. Her hand is really coming together. This is where people will say cut outside or inside out, 8-mon first, then 9-mon. That way you get a little bit more safety. Now, I mean, that weight could have just as easily been a 6-9 weight instead of a 5-8 weight, so that's not saying too much, but it was really unfortunate for Noelle that just as her hand was getting really close to being a monster, that Xiangyu found Tenpai just then. And you know what? Props to Xiangyu for giving himself that opportunity. If he forced the Jinitsu, he would not have been Tenpai there. He would not be winning that hand. Instead, he was rewarded with 12,000 points.
And now, that 3-mon is the best possible draw here. Now going to solidify the Dora pair and Moriyaman Ishanten for another Mangan for Zhang Yu.
Yeah, this is looking like it's going to be another 12,000 points. Unless someone else can get there first, and good progress is being made around the table. Toyman in particular is 2 away from Tenpai with very improvable shapes. And Alex on the left is doing kind of okay. Also 2 away from Tenpai, but with nice floating tiles.
Dylan taking a better shape, getting to discard the 1-2 Pinchon.
And I just talked
now looking
about
a lot more like Tanyao.
Inside out. Here's a spot where I prefer cutting the 1-mon first and then the 2-mon. Because if we draw 4-mon, we can change from the 6-8 Kanchan to the 2-4 Kanchan, where we have a chance at Tanyao and Sanchoku. He ended up drawing the 5 so that theory goes a bit to the wayside.
And there's the 3-mon draw.
Classic Mahjong, Schrodinger's Penchan.
Schrodinger's Pinchon.
Who
Each.
coined that? I've heard it from somebody.
We have 4 so, 7 so, wait for Dylan.
Each.
Oh, it's immediately going to be chased by Alex.
And Alex just waiting on 7-pin, which are all in Dylan's hand.
Alex cannot win.
Yeah, Alex, this is unwinnable for Alex. Alex has absolutely no qualms about chasing. I don't know that I've ever seen Alex pass up an opportunity to chase, no matter the weight or value.
Yeah, and of course he can't know that all the 7-pin are dead. That's just really unlucky for him. But that's a big opportunity for Dylan now. And honestly, Xiangyu's dealer can also justify shoving as well.
Well, here's a question about wall reading to help the people watching out a little bit. If you are Alex here and you look to the left, you see Dylan's called Ricci, there's no pin. Oop, we have the Ricci from dealer. I got the Apeco draw, so waiting 6-0, 9-so. If you're Alex, it immediately comes into Alex's hand. Oh no!
Just when I was thinking, I'm not sure I would Ricci here, it comes out in a Patsu turn. It's going to be a Hanemon as a result.
Oh boy.
I guess you just always Ricci, huh? What is this hype by? Xiangyu is pulling the... So we thought it was Noelle going to be pulling the Oliver score. Nope. Xiangyu, well known to be to pull out games like this, has a penchant for just building monster value, and is showing off now.
Yeah, that's how you end up. That's how you end up with a positive score with 3 firsts, 3 thirds, and 3 fourths.
That's so impressive.
All right, perfect Ishanten now for Zhang Yu.
Yeah, the Tanyao Ipeco chances as well. Just deciding...
Is anybody anywhere close to being able to fight this? Actually, Dylan.
Yeah, 2 away from Tenpai. Excellent shapes. Oh.
Oh, what is this?
You know, I just want to throw the tile back because it confused me. I knew what my hand was before we drew the 5-pin, and now I don't know what it is anymore.
It feels like you have Itsu upgrades, but you really don't. Like,
No.
if you draw 1-pin or 9-pin, I mean, I guess you could discard 7-pin, 8-pin.
Mm-hmm. But you lose Tanya options. Okay, we're Tenpai. We're Tenpai.
Each.
We don't have to think about the complicated shape anymore.
Yeah, it's the same as if you didn't have the 5-pin in your hand. You could just do like 2-pin or
8-pin.
6. So this is
Oh, but
the
that
Ipeco
kills
option.
the Ipeco. Yeah. Maybe didn't see it there.
Well, I'm not sure that was necessarily not seeing it. I think Xiangyu was like balancing the idea of showing 2 8-pins to the board because one's already discarded by Dylan. And if he discards an 8-pin and another one comes out, like maybe that 9-pin looks really
Boom.
safe.
That's it. That's a really interesting thought. 3/6 Mon Tenpai on the right for Noel.
It's possible that if he drew the 4-so into Tenpai instead of the 1-so, he would say, well, 6-pin gives me double Takane, so I'll definitely go for the 2-mon Richi, or 2-pin Richi.
Boom.
But
Being now 4-mon, 6-mon Tenpai for Alex, and here's my thing, right? Currently having played and in the process of playing the players at this table, like you've seen them do quite a bit of pushing. The 8-pin feels like a very like intelligent discard. Like, okay, I'm gonna bait someone into discarding the 9-pin. But if people are just pushing, it doesn't matter. Like,
yeah, that's a good point. And in the end, the Takame 6-pin did come out, so only 2900 for Xiangyu. But I mean, at this point,
it's all icing.
It's so up good. It doesn't.
And this is
doesn't
another
really
good
matter.
hand. Opening up another 2-shanten here.
Yeah, we do have that Penchon. It's a little bit weak. Kachan the Sozu as well.
But that 5-mon, the 5-mon's gonna get rid of it. And the Kanchan's Dora. Oh, or we'll just fill in the Penchon. Whatever. It's fine.
And
all right,
Jesus. All right, we're going to draw next. 7, so.
Well, this is where, okay, do you call less in North Seat?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I don't think my seat there necessarily changes that for me.
Because what's happened is Alex has made 2 calls, and I'm not gonna get into any like 7-so discard. The 2-5-8, we're getting rid of Dora, but this is such a good weight that you feel certain that you'll win almost. But like as Alex here, like those 2 calls, I'm not gonna get into any like occult nonsense. Occult stuff, I think, has some merit when very good players do it, but I can't understand occult stuff. There's the sumo. But I feel like when you're calling, you're giving the dealer more draws. You're giving them more opportunity to pick up tiles. Jesus, what is this?
Ishanten. We just start Ishanten. The average Shanten keeps improving hand after hand.
Would you have discarded 9-mon there? I felt like that was our pair.
Yeah, that did seem like a pair candidate for us.
Although I would have been the fool out here discarding 2-pin, and then I wouldn't have this Ryoncon, so.
Yeah, Xiangyu really valuing this door acceptance, it looks like. Although in my mind, if we draw a door, that's just a pair anyway.
Right.
Yeah, not bad from Alex though. On the left, in terms of speed, draws the Haku, so doesn't even need to open for it, and he's Ishanten as well.
Ishanten.
Oh, but Xiangyu's Tenpai.
There's Tenpai
With Sotogawa too. So... Oh no.
But again, like, are you really expecting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the anticipated outcome. Dylan, not much you could do there. Richipatsu, 3900, and Xiangyu cannot stop winning.
Okay, this isn't a horrible high pie, but it's not the absolutely cracked high pie that we've been seeing.
Okay, average Shanten going up.
There's a real Chanta or June chance though with this hand, so it'll be interesting to see what he draws. But 2 early calls from both Alex and Noel trying to put a stop to this. Noel's still well above 30k. Noel has not been hurt by I guess she was hurt by the beginning of Xiangyu's run when she dealt in for 12k, but since then has stayed out of it and has maintained a very good second because of it.
Yeah, it's very impressive to be over 30,000 points when another player's at 76,100.
All right, Xiangyu getting some great draws here.
2 away from Tenpai, but again, Alex willing to call just about anything that he can into Tenpai, which means 4 7-mon or 5 8 so.
One mon? Yeah.
That's a block. That's a headless shape. Does Noelle like the south enough to forego the headless? No, she'll play efficiently.
Yeah, with one south already cut, especially.
1
Interesting chi there.
Did that
It doesn't change
did
our
that help?
Shanten. I think it makes our shapes worse, personally, but um, some people really value the chance to pull, and this gives us, the last one pin.
Noelle got a draw there that actually gives her. She could shift into a Honitsu. Might be a little hard to avoid Furitin, but
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that back at the 9-pin cut, but her hand seemed a little bit more straightforward towards a standard hand back then.
this Chitoi Ishanten. All right, there's Tenpai. 4-pin, 7-pin.
One of each in the
Only
wall.
1 4-pin. Yep. Alex really favoring the pawns here.
Yeah, I personally am a sequence guy myself, so any chance I can get.
Might you call yourself a runner?
Sure. I guess that. So what do you call someone who favors Toy Toy then? It's like building vertically.
Come back to me. I'll think of a pun. I'll think of a pun in a little bit.
Yeah,
Right now we have 5-mon 3-pin Tenpai for Alex. 3-pin once cut, the other 3-pin in the wall. 5-mon once in hand, once in the wall. Zhang Yu just cannot find the Chitoi Tenpai here. Ugh! I don't know. Yeah, I was gonna say three so would be my instinct.
Three pin.
There's the 3-pin, but is this an improvement on weight though if we discard 4-pin?
You can switch to 369 50 time.
Yeah, that'd be 3. I guess that's the rough part. And 4-pin is live. Does take the 369.
And dodges dealing. As a result.
Right. The 9-pin doesn't cut it.
Yeah, this is going to be end up being a big brain move. If Noel can find K10 here.
8-pin is safe.
Nice. Yeah.
All right, and the final 5-mon was deadball.
This was a really small thing. Ended up saving 1,000 points and gaining 1,500 instead. But those small points can add up. That's
we see.
For Noel.
I was about to say we see all of just so many wins. a pair of Nan and Shaw, the south and the west, and Dylan's hand on the right. The south is double south, although I don't know. We can't win enough to get above 30k. Really, it's just the speed and the extra value for down the road that we like.
Home.
But Zhang Yu also having a pair of north, which he could call just to try and end this game. You could even Sasha call me into Dylan if you felt like Noelle might be building a hand, which she very much is.
Absolutely.
Sasha Comey being dealing in on purpose.
But
And seeing the double knot on the right, I'm tempted, not on the 2-pin, but I'm tempted to open my hand if a good opportunity arises if I'm Noelle.
I think I like the chi there from Dylan, adding a second door to his hand, because right now it's Honitsu, double south door 1. That's 5 Han. If you can get a second door in the hand, that's a 12k. That's a pretty significant swing there.
I'm really curious if Noelle tried to chi that 7 so.
Oh, I bet she did. Oh no. Switch to Diamond, perhaps? Oh, okay.
Nah. The Shah just feels so good, and normally it would be, but Zhang Yu over here being a troll.
Just having it in hand, right?
Was dealt it. Like all 4 Shah were in high pies. 4-pin unhelpful. Uh-oh.
Ooh,
Could be a trap.
yeah, this might be a swap here. It's certainly more efficient to swap, but no, she reads the danger of the 5-so somehow.
The 3-so came 3, 4. That's a weird one when you've pawned the 3-so.
Yeah, it's kind of like
Come.
the half Suji.
Oh God!
Kave.
One Mon, the new Dora, that helps Alex.
Who is Chitoi Ishanta?
1、
Ugh.
Okay,
That she didn't help us.
yeah, if we had cut the 5-so earlier, that would be the chi we're looking for. We are in a headless spot though.
Do we toss 3 Mon 4 Mon? No.
Yeah, okay. I kind of like this.
I mean, it makes it less likely that we're gonna have to discard a so tile.
Oh,
But we immediately draw 2. Jesus.
that's okay. We're cutting
Boom.
these Monzu before they become dangerous. Oh
This
no,
is Tenpai.
it is Tenpai.
5 Mon Tenpai for
completely dead,
Zhongyu. But I mean, there's so many ways to upgrade this.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The plan is to upgrade. You could just take, a Tenpai that can win, though, while you're waiting. It does reduce the number of upgrades you have, probably, though.
Yeah, discarding the 6 Mon instead of the 2 Mon set you can wait on 3. Well, also, that would have been good because if you draw the 1, you can keep the Dora.
That's true.
That's not Tenpai anymore.
Yeah, although 1,500 points or 1,000 points probably not going to do a whole lot for Changyu at this point.
If you're Noel and you've been paying attention to Tadashi and Sumagiri from Dylan, ever since that 6-0 discard, there has not been another Tadashi from Dylan. So the 6-0 rates to still be safe if it once was. Although we're just going to be able to chi the So tiles and now wait 5-8. Which there's
No.
one. Oh, and I'm immediately going to get it. Oh no.
And that means we're not done yet. This game continues. This high pie looks like it's got a lot of work to go. And 3-pin is about the most perfect second draw you can get. Maybe the only tile better is a 3-so right now.
Or a 2-so. I'd be pretty happy with another 2-so.
Yeah, I mean...
It's less efficient than the 3-so, but...
Can't complain about drawing Dora, right?
Yeah, the bigger issue is really going to be the fact that Zhongyu, once again, has double Yakuhai.
Oh, yeah.
If I'm Zhongyu, I'm opening on absolutely anything.
Yeah, points are
Like,
points.
I do not want Noelle stepping to my game right now.
And
like, this is...
Oh, she just pulled in the Dora. Was tempted for a second there to call and just reveal a Mungon, but the Tongdown shift was a little far away.
Boom.
Yep, there's the pawn. And that's Tenpai. You don't even really... You don't have to Richi that. I mean, obviously, if you're trying to catch up with Zhongyu, well, maybe not. Maybe it's not obvious. I don't know. That's a hard one for me.
I mean, you mentioned this before, right? If players have been showing the willingness to push, Richi's not necessarily a bad thing.
Well, Zhongyu's the only player who hasn't, though. Like, that is the one thing. Like, you have... But if someone else deals in, obviously calling Richi will increase your value, regardless of who it is that deals it. So...
And this is the second time in recent memory where an Encore of the Weight is just being held by one of the players.
We have Tenpai for 2 Mon, 5 Mon.
Although that lost its Yaku with a Chun pair being cut, so can't quite win here. Okay, we'll play for the Hatsutsumo.
If the Hatsu comes out from someone else, we pawn it and discard 8 Mon.
Right. Even here, you can just cut.
Maybe discard 8 Mon, yeah.
Dylan's been doing a nice job of dodging, Alex as well. And both these players know that if this goes to Ryukyoku, we will see another round. There's the Hatsu. Oh, it waits on the Tonki 7 so much.
What a choice!
How? How can you know that?
Hold on. Will it stay on this screen if you don't click anything?
Yeah. We can take a look at this.
Okay. So we see 4 8-mon cut. We see early 6-mon. So the 3-mon is Suji.
Yeah, so just defending to the dealer Ricci instead of the new Ricci.
Yeah, because you are not concerned at all about dealing into Alex. I mean, you could deal into a Baimon for Alex and still be really happy with your score.
And this Hatsu only hand turns into 5,400 with the 2 Ricci 6 and 7 Homba.
Oh my god.
In the end, that puts Shangyu at exactly 80,000 points plus 65.0. Stomping up the standings. And after that game, jumps all the way into 4th place overall.
And Noel also was outside of the top 5 and squeezes in since Dylan took a hit there.
What a game. And it looks like that is the second game of this table. They're probably finished for the evening.
Glad we came into that one though, because that was like 2 on John all in one.
It really was. We've seen some spectacular games, and if we'd like, there are a couple 8-2 matches that are ongoing. We could peek in on those.
Maybe go to the one that has started most recently.
Sure, let me take a quick peek at the 8-2 standings to see. Yeah, let's do that.
All right, so we're going to be coming in to see Barry, Kevin, Rachel, and I.
Let's just go ahead and put those names in so that you can see the standings. As we wait for that game to load up. Have they played any games up to this point? Or are we still... Is this their first try?
That is very hard. You mean of the day? They played one already today, yes.
Okay.
Actually, they've played 2. This is their 3rd game today.
So they might indeed be doing all 4.
And already we have, again, an East 4 with a lot of separation. And Barry at 54,000 was the first dealer and probably won a couple of hands as such. Although our current dealer, I, is holding a pretty good hand as well. A hand that could keep the dealership for them. We have Chitoy Ishanten for Rachel, Chitoy Dora 2, as a matter of fact. Angling perhaps for a Pei Tonki. And now Barry is Ishanten.
Yeah, looks like in this game, Barry has won a bunch of hands, and Kevin is staying out of trouble.
That palm, though.
Wait.
A 9-pin and a 2-pin's already been discarded. I don't... This isn't my toy.
Yeah, the Chitoy versus Toy is always an interesting debate.
But the 9-pin does come out. Although we are going to have the Ricci here waiting 1-mon, 4-mon for I. Ricci, Pinfu, possible Tanyao.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a 1-mon come out if it weren't pretty well locked in Barry's hand. Cutting 2-mon, 6-mon really feels like your weight should be on the upper side of the Monzu, not the lower side.
Yeah, 2-mon, just a safe discard here. Barry has a good lead, doesn't need to deal on 2 dealer, and I getting the 1-mon soon. So the cheaper end, but a win's a win.
Pretty impactful win there, adding some distance.
Ricci.
Oh my goodness, double Ricci.
Double Ricci? What?
Just
dealer double Ricci waiting on 7-mon with a Dora. So double Ricci Dora 1. I mean, it's almost Junchan.
Yeah,
like...
Forso pair mucking things up a bit here.
Huh. What do you think about trying to
Not take the double reach.
not take the double reachy and trying to get the Junchan here? Because the even open Junchan is worth the same as the double reachy, other than the fact that you have Uro chances with the double reachy.
I'm not convinced. Like maybe instead of going for Junchan, you just cut 8-9 and play for Pifu, Richi Pifu Doro.
With the, let's see, we had a floating 3-pin in hand.
And you have Sanchoku as a backup plan there too. 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
So I think this might be one of those spots where you can legitimately consider not taking a double reachy. I think nearly everyone double reaches this. But
I legitimately consider not taking a double reachy every time I've ever had double reachy. I've never had good weight double reachy. I always look at it and I'm just like, oh god, this is a nightmare. And like here, I mean, 7-mon, it's a little bit too far inside to be easy to come out. And it's such a useful tile. Like we see that Rachel has 2. Again, that's Chitoy 2 Shanten, and then Kevin has 2. Although one of them would need to come out the way the hand is currently.
Yeah, and it's looking like he doesn't want to risk anything here.
Home.
We have another pawn from Rachel going for the Tanyao.
The real question is, will we see a 7-so cotton? Tempai for Barry, also on the 7-mon. Forso really not great here. It's one chance, but risks the Dora Suji.
Once you're in, well, the one set has already been discarded.
You're right. My bad.
But one chance is functionally meaningless once you get to
with a 1-so out. Forso's easy push for me.
Yeah. And you have all the 3-so, and you see 3-5-so, like.
Home.
All right, there's the Toy Todd Yao Tempai for Rachel.
3 players Tempai, 2 waiting on the 7-mon, 1 holding the 7-mon.
That's gonna put Kevin under 30K there.
Indeed. So it's still in the lead here, second place for Kevin, but slightly diminished in terms of the fact that he's not earning any UMA from this. Doing a quick scan to see which hand I like the best. Is none of the above an option?
I mean, it feels like the right one. That 5-mon makes Barry's hand
It's
pretty workable. 2-3-4 Sanshoku possibility.
Yeah, I can never complain about it. Good old 2-3-4. Kevin's doing all right as well across the table.
A lot of pairs in people's hands this round so far.
That's probably why I don't like them. Oh, there's a sweet little fill. And now Barry's shapes are very strong.
What do we discard? Yeah, 2-so.
That's like 2-so or 2-pin. And I think that 2-so makes sense here.
Six pin's an interesting draw.
Yeah, the only question is, do you want to hold that 5-pin for Ipeco draws, cutting the 4-so 5-so, or do you just want to take your blocks as you have them and play for a potential, I don't know, Sanchoku, perhaps 3-4-5, 4-6, something along those lines. 4-5-6 probably not likely, but 3-4-5 was possible.
That was a good fill there for I.
Barry doing the 5-6-7 Sanchoku math, but I don't think it's likely here.
I think it's more likely in 4-5-6 because of the Mon shape. But because of the So shape, still unlikely.
Yeah, most of the draws they get you to 4-5-6 Sanchoku either reduce your Ukeide, your tile acceptance, or it just puts you in Tenpai, so you would just take the Richi and miss out on the Sanchoku.
And now we see turn 10 electing to hold the safe east.
Yeah, in the meantime, we've seen some of these pairs turn into Anko around the table. Kevin with a 2-mon triplet, Rachel with an 8-pin triplet and 7-pin triplet.
Eat.
There's Tim. There's Tenpai for Barry. The Richie pin for Tanya.
Rachel, having gone with the 1-mon so first, is now a little trapped on the Sanzo.
And we do have the chat pointing out that we're no longer in B2.
Don't.
We're now watching
Oh, thank you very much.
in A2 match.
Reach Pin for Tanya, 3,900 for Barry. I'll go ahead and fix that after we swap to his South 1 dealership.
With 2 Hamba, made it 4,500. With that 4-pin draw, we now have 5 blocks as Barry. They're just not fantastic. The 6-8 Kanchan and the 8-9 Pinchan leave a lot to be desired. We do have the Dora 8-so in hand that we might be able to make use of. A little bit easier to use would be Rachel has the Haku pair across the way. Could call for a fast hand. Could even hedge Honitsu, but that would require discarding the 3-pin, 4-pin Ryanman that she has in hand. A pair of East and Eyes hand, but that's not super helpful. We do see Rachel calling the Haku.
Yeah, only Barry with the Dora so far. Really, just wants to use it as a pair, honestly. Notably cutting away from this Penchon before having to make a decision about how to treat this So shape. Even though the 5 and 8 So overlap in acceptance, you don't want to drop the Dora. And you don't want to drop a good floating tile like the 5 So. This is just cut the bad Penchon shape and see what happens elsewhere.
Kevin locked in for the flush now. The Dora coming out of Barry's hand after drawing the 5 So pair.
Interesting draw here. Thinking about the 3-pin cut, it is helping the Honitsu hand come together. So, how much do you want to suck, Ikiri? That tile? It can also
well, but you can
you.
use the 3-pin right now. Like with your pin shape right now, you never have to discard a pin if you don't want to. Like you can keep all of these in hand.
Mm-hmm.
And will for the moment.
Yes, this future weight could be a little interesting. Depending the type of Tenpai you get. 1-pin, 4-pin, 5 So.
Yeah. It's essentially just an Ontonsu. Rachel just keeps drawing So tiles.
Yeah, her hand's turning into Honitsu too. It's like the when one person does it, the other tiles filter to their hands.
2-pin north, the weight for Kevin. The last 2-pin very, very locked up in Barry's hand. The last north somewhere in the wall.
Should be noted that all of the value Yakuhai have cleared. So this is either Chinitsu or Bakahon.
Seven So Tenpai for Rachel.
Yakuhai Honitsu
2-mon, 5-mon. Richi, Pinfu for Barry. 3 left in the wall.
8 So is Gambutsu, but that's Dora. Rachel just jam.
Did the 4 So give us a better weight though?
Don't.
assume so. Two mon will come out instead. Was that a Shabo type one? Wait instead. Should be more than that.
I was the deal in happened before I
It should be something like 1 so,
had
2 so,
rearranged
5
it in my
so.
head. Yeah. Which and the 5 so was Genbutsu, so even though you're losing essentially 4,000 points, your ability to win the hand is so much higher dropping the 8 so there. It's one of those weird expected value calculations. Does Rachel have Kokoshi? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just 8.
And a pair. Yeah, I didn't have a check on the number 1 so that had been discarded. So on and so forth. That might have changed the math there too.
G.
All right. We I guess early. Well, this could still be Tanyao. This isn't necessarily Atazuke for I. It's more than likely going to be waiting on that North to come into hand, but could technically still end up with Tanyao.
Yeah, after seeing the Dora come out, that fills a bad shape. Could not pass that up and just instantly called it. Will dealer get to repeat again, though? It
6
seems
mon
really
improves the
nice.
shape. We can. If we pull in the south, do we drop 6 mon?
It seems so. We need to cut, what, 6 mon and 2 so. So your choice of which one to cut first. Oh boy.
That's 6 so's nice. Now we could drop south.
Yeah, or just 6 mon right away.
I mean, yeah, we never really are going to want the 6/7 in hand since it is Furitan.
And now if you draw your Pinafore tile first, you can cut south. If you draw,
there you go.
If you get to call the south first, oh, okay.
Oh, but now we're also losing our pair. I feel like if we're gonna cut a simple tile there, it has to be a Ryanman.
I wonder if this is concerned about the Kokushi. The other possibility is that you can still call the south and have a really wide Ishantan.
Well, but that's also the issue with keeping the south in hand. Like, if you're expecting Kokushi, they are marked to have at least one of your tiles. And if
Very
south
likely.
stays live, no one else is going to want to drop it because of the Kokushi. So I feel like it's best. I mean, there's no overflow whatsoever from Rachel. Like, there is nothing at all to suggest that her hand is scary. Like, if I were Rachel, I might have tossed a couple 1-pin or an east to maybe spook people however much you can with a far off Kokushi. But I feel like the Kokushi is a good reason to drop the souths, since it makes it so much harder for you to win. But Barry also is so far ahead at this point that he doesn't have to win this hand.
Yeah, I haven't been counting tiles to see if it's been confirmed dead yet. Hatsu's 3 out, I think. So I think it's still live.
That's gotta be Tenpai, right? It's just Tenpai waiting on the Haku.
Maybe if Rachel hadn't finally made progress cutting the east, we would have seen the Haku come out, but I'm not willing to risk it here.
Yeah, 10 in a pair.
Kevin's been sitting on this door Tonki for a bit. Was on the 5 so for a while, and then swapped over.
Kang.
Oh,
Khan.
flips 2 door that don't.
Oh,
benefit
wait.
anyone.
That reveals that the Kokoshi's dead. Because the 9 mon's the
9 mon?
indicator and 3
Oh,
were
man.
cut. Yeah.
That means I can actually swap to a hand that can win now.
Unfortunately, I's first draw after that was revealed was the Furitan 8 so. Oh my god! What a draw. Just getting the Haku instead.
And there's Tenpai for Barry too.
A winnable Tenpai for Barry.
Mm-hmm. In the end, Ryukyoku, 3 players Tenpai. Not surprisingly, the Kokushi, the only player that isn't. It's very odd and very scary when you flip the hands over and Kokushi is one of them.
Four blocks here, one of which includes the Dora for Barry. This is, I would say, a pretty decent opening hand.
Hey.
And immediately gets the Souths again.
And we're doing this again.
But there's no Kokushi on the table to make the calculations wonky.
Yeah, kind of average hands for the rest of the table. Everyone except for I has immediate door acceptance, though. These shapes are still a little awkward. I mean, you can just 8-pin and hold your current shapes, but you really would like to improve somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean we have 6 blocks.
Yeah, sad draw is the 3-mon. You're probably going to be forced to cut 1-pin, 2-pin if you get that. Oh, nice pickup for Rachel, though. Straight into Ishanten for Richie Tanyao with a Dora. And I assume Rachel will not call for Tenpai here, even though she has a dealership left, because these shapes are too strong.
And according to what you opened on, it might kill your ability to accept another Dora, which you'd really like.
Seems like a race between Rachel and Barry right now. Who can find the Tenpai first? Pretty close in terms of ability to get there. Rachel has
the South.
Home.
2-mon. Yeah, I guarantee the Dora used in hand could end up Dora Tonki. This is Tenpai for Rachel, waiting 2-pin, 5-pin.
No safety here, so just take your best shot.
Maybe. 2-so, 3-so feels sketch. Sozu seems pretty expensive.
Yeah, Kevin might just have to throw this 9-so back.
Chi.
And there it is, Dortonki.
The classic. 2 left in the wall. Meanwhile, for the 2-pin, 5-pin, there's actually 4 of those still in the wall. Most of them 2-pin.
Yeah, advantage Rachel then, but Barry definitely has a lot of value here.
I went to the tank for a little bit there.
And what'd you find?
Well, I found the 8-pin discard. I don't know if that's what I would have found personally, but it's definitely what I found.
That's a... I'll take your word for it. Oh, there's a door. That'll be held.
Yep, not tossing that. It is 6-so. We see 3-5-so just got discarded. Makes us feel a little bit better.
A necessary win here for Rachel. Manga minimum, unless she picks some massive Uda.
3! There it is! It's the Urasan!
And just like that, we've got a game again. It is tight.
The distance from 2nd to 4th is only 6,800.
Barry eats the Oyakaburi, but he could afford that. He had plenty of points. The real story now is Kevin in his second dealership. Only 2,000, about 2,000 points in the lead. Rachel catching up and I sandwiched in between.
I mean, this is Ishanten. That 2-mon makes our shapes... Well, it makes our shapes better. It makes our Ishanten better, but it takes away our possibility of 5-6-7 Sanshoku.
Yeah, it just holds the Tenpai
if we elect to keep it.
I'm not
I mean,
sure.
this is... I mean, 1-mon feels like an improvement. 3-mon is an improvement. 5-mon, 6-mon, 8-mon, or 5-mon, you just win. But
yeah, I think I prefer maybe 6 6-mon cut here. And we still get all of those improvements, but we just have better tile acceptance around the 5-pin.
Mm-hmm. But here's the problem, is that if you draw 6-mon or 8-mon, we could end up with a Champon waiting on pay.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
that's a lot harder with the 5-pin in hand, I feel.
I think we could also draw the 5-pin for the same Champon, but also like the 8-mon draw isn't amazing. I think when Champon 7-mon and pay.
Yeah, but the North is gonna win, so it doesn't matter that
fair,
you
that's
have
fair.
3 7-mon.
Yeah,
We do
if
see
you're
a
happy
call
with that
from
potential
I.
weight, then I think you can totally make that play. Also, just cutting pay was also an interesting idea there.
Yeah, would have been a good shot at Tanyao. All the pay dead now.
Yeah, there's some funky calls happening around the table. Obviously, a Tanyao for I, but Rachel might be playing for Toy Toy.
Each.
Yeah, well, really, I could still make a play for Toy Toy as well.
That's true. And Barry is making a play for Richinomi.
A classic play.
Sumo.
Oh, Richipatsu
And
Sumo.
Hepatsu.
Sorry, my mistake. Richipatsu Sumo Ura? Of course.
Yes, naturally.
This is the mangan, casual Richinomi mangan.
And one of the biggest effects of that is it's going to pull Kevin now into third by 300 points, and it shrinks the distance from second to fourth.
Oh yeah, I mean,
by 2,000.
If Barry's goal was to make the game that much more difficult to play for the rest of the table, he's certainly done it.
Making everyone else's life hard, I think, is the main object of Mahjong.
Well, now...
Oh, look at this hand for Rachel. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 Yakahai. That's our hand. These 4-pin do not exist.
Yeah, it's super tempting to cut those out. You also, with 2 Yakuhai like this, like to find a Honitsu if it exists. It's just hard to imagine that it exists in this particular hand.
Sanshoku plus Chanta is the same as Honitsu.
Honitsu Yakuhai Yakuha though?
Well, Sanshoku Chanta. Oh, I guess
we just do it
you
closed,
would
right?
you would lose one of the Yakuhai,
Right.
I guess. So it ends up one short. But if we do get Tenpai closed here,
I mean, just keep drawing these 2 1 2s and 3s. You got it. Barry across the table might have a Sanchoku of his own, 7 8 9, and I do want to note that Chun finally left someone's hand. I on the right discards it in favor of a Tanyao.
Rachel taking the efficiency play, discarding 1 pin.
It makes sense. I mean, we need points. We need our dealership.
The North now drawn into the Anko there for Kevin. Oh, there's Tenpai waiting 2-mon.
Bonus 2 as well, so 3,900 for Rachel. Two-mon, Ankoed up. Unlikely to be discarded. There is a world, though, where Barry draws towards that Sanchoku and ends up cutting 1-mon, 2-mon for Tenpai. Oh.
Is this that world? You start with 1-mon though, right? Or do you start with 2-mon to leave? Yeah, what you keeping the efficient? Oh, you've got 3-4-so.
I mean, yeah, the other consideration is to cut 3-4-so. But just holding the headless shape here is very strong.
How did Geary use the 7-mon? That's interesting.
And on the right, I is thinking about calling for Tenpai. Does indeed do so.
1-pin, 4-pin, but can only wait on the 4-pin.
Each.
Or could pawn 2-pin, 3-pin, 7-pin for Toy Toy.
Yeah, and that's definitely the plan, is to turn this into Toy Toy. But we'll take the temporary Tenpai in the meantime. Kevin also finds Tenpai, takes the Richi on 8-mon, 1-pin. Oh, 1-pin to Rachel's got to drop this.
Dong.
Richi, pay, Uda, 64 with all that foo.
Woof.
And all of a sudden, that comeback is looking less likely for Rachel now.
And especially with that opening hand.
Yeah, Honitsu, Kokshi. trying to come back, you got to do something big like that. But you've also got this 2-pin Dora in hand. It's going to be really rough.
Well, you've got all the honors.
It just says 2-pin, let's go.
Yeah,
I got the honors, I just need my 1s and 9s. 6 Shantan. 13 sided.
6 on 10 from 13 sided. I mean, that'd be pretty magical to win. But even that wouldn't be enough for first unless you hit Barry with it.
Yeah, it's true.
But I would really like to hold dealership here to be able to get above 30K. This hand is a little slow.
Yeah, you of course look for calling options. And there's a ton now shift here, but you have to cut 9-pin 9-so 9-so. And if I find something like a middle Montile, that would really help. Even this 3 is a little bit awkward with a pair of 2 mons discarded and the 1 mon potential Hootie-ten. But that does make something like the 4 mon or 5 mon draw worse, just discarding it.
Could Itsu now.
Or even, yeah, dueling Honitsu.
In the same suit. I think we usually just call that no 10.
Well,
oh, that's 6 is a great fill for Barry.
Ishan 10 for him.
Yeah. What do we toss? 7 mon. Okay.
We've got that double acceptance, 3-pin, 6-pin in the middle of that pin block.
Chi.
I with 4 pairs now. 3-pin, 6-pin, Tenpai for Barry. Tanyao Dora 1. Oh, Chitoi Ishanten. Nope,
Ooh.
never mind. Not Chitoi Ishanten.
You know, you could go with the 9-pin first to hedge
Boom.
the Chitoi, but this is a very straightforward Shinitsu play then. And Rachel will start to call as well, although she had Chitoi possibilities. She was Chitoi Ishan 10. See, the one person who doesn't really want to drop 3-pin.
G.
All right, Ishanten for I, 2 Shanten for Rachel.
Boom.
This is acceptable. 2,000 points ends the game. I mean, you're not really happy to finish second place below 25k, but you know, it could be worse. When a player's up at 65,000 points, definitely indicates the game has been a struggle. And for Barry, plus 55.6. Boy, we have been tuning into the best games, the monstrous wins.
Yeah, we found them very naturally. Kind of expect them to play one more game here, although they haven't started yet.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll feel it out for a couple more minutes. In the meantime, have we seen the oops? Yeah, good luck in spring 2024, everybody. Have we seen the result from the recent A2 game that was going on? I know there's another table.
It did finish. So let's pop in there. So the other A2 game that just finished was Stanley came in first, Matthias came in second, Claire came in third, and Alfred came in fourth with very normal scores. Very normal, average, expected scores from everyone.
No one with a win over 50,000 points?
No. It actually looks like that game ended with first place at 38-9 and last place at 23-7.
Okay.
So a very tight game.
Okay, and we got word that they will not indeed be playing the fourth game, saving that for another day. So the standings as they currently sit are where we will leave you. Barry in the lead, 3-3-3 with 9 games played. Jay and Matthias following suit. Matthew and Alfred and take up the remaining guaranteed promo spots as it stands now. I just out of range. Stanley out of range as well, but just barely. So plenty to fight for in the second half of the season. For Rachel, sitting middle of the pack right now with another game to play in this series. And Kevin has a little bit of work to do, but definitely early days in the H division. Definitely a fun one to watch, and I'm hoping we get the opportunity to see more from all of these players in the near future. I'm sure we will. Looks like that is the final game of the evening, so we will be sending it to the ending screen, everybody. Thanks for hopping in. If you enjoyed watching all this and you want to become a part of the action, check out the website, americanreachy.org. On that page, you can see all of the standings as they are updated live, and you can register for the summer session, which is going to happen. We're halfway through this season, so we've got another month and a half before the registration deadline comes through, and in 2 months the new season will start, the summer season, which things really do heat up in the summer season. I feel like in the winter it's calm and peaceful, and then as the weather gets warmer, so does the action. So should be a really exciting one. Definitely visit americanreachy.org to register there. It'll be the first thing you see on the home page. And of course, if you would like to follow all the action of the American Reachy League on our socials, we've got a Twitter/X page. You can visit us at American Reachy there. Also at American Reachy on YouTube. You can find this broadcast as well as all the broadcasts from this season and the many seasons in the past couple of years. Lots of great content there for you to browse through. Any final thoughts, Tucker, before we call it for the night?
The last time we cast together, you made a comment about wanting to take notes from the way I ended it, because you said you usually end up rambling on as you're going through talking about the socials.
I do.
And I think I want to end by saying I give you a solid 8 out of 10 on this one. I think you did a good job of saying all of the important things and letting people know what was there and doing it in a quick way. So, a pat on the back for our most tenured broadcaster, Nathaniel.
Appreciate that, Tucker. I will happily accept an 8 out of 10 marks for the stream. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and hope to see you in the next one. We don't have a set date for our next broadcast, but you can guarantee there will always be a Wednesday evening cast. So we'll definitely see you in the next one.